Chapter 431, Updated Space. I will fetch the basket and the bucket, and also get the elder sister-in-law and third sister-in-law. With that, she dashed off. Soon Miss Sue and young Xiaoni came over with baskets and buckets in their hands. Young Xiaoni smiled. I just told my elder sister-in-law the day before that we should be ready to harvest mushrooms and wooden ears. Now that you are home, we can pick them. Miss Sue pursed her lips. You remember things related to food the most. Everyone burst into laughter. Qiao Xian smiled. Fresh mushrooms and wooden ears are very tasty, but we have no meat at home, or we can make ground meat with mushrooms, and that would be fresh and delicious. We will make a portion next time we buy meat. I will make some desserts for you with snow fungus, dates and lotus seeds. They were all very excited when it came to food. They were fast in their actions and soon collected all the mushrooms, wooden ears and snow fungus in their buckets and baskets. Qiao Xian weighed them and believed that there were 15 kilograms of snow fungus. Approximately 500 grams of dried snow fungus could be produced from 3 to 5 to 4 kilograms of snow fungus. Then, with this harvest, they would get around 2.5 xofit. She had looked around in the market in the province. 500 grams of excellent snow fungus could be sold at 50 liang, and even ordinary ones could be sold at 20 to 30 liang. Snow fungus produced by her were large, with appropriate thickness, and pure in color without any flaws. As long as there was nothing wrong during the sun-drying process, they could be sold at the highest price. Hence, this small basket of snow fungus was worth more than 200 liang. Qiao Xian asked Tao Tao and Miss Sue to carry the harvested fruits back into the house, whilst she remained there. They thought that she was just checking the mushroom shed, so they left accordingly. Qiao Xian shut the gate, let out a sigh of relief and could not wait to rush towards the buds. She put the 20 twigs of trees into the space. No one would notice the strangeness happening in the garden since no one was around. When someone walked in and saw them missing, she could just say that the twigs had all gone rotten. What a perfect lie! When the 20 twigs went into space, they were deeply rooted directly. Qiao Xian could even feel them starting to grow the roots right after they got grounded in the soil. The magical energy inside the space grew vividly and made a huge stir. Motivated, Qiao Xian sensed instantly that her superpower had improved as well. She could even sense the moisture in the air and make an even longer day of weather forecast. The house which had been covered with mist was now getting very clear. But it was not enough. Qiao Xian pulled bud after bud and put 5 of them into space. Instantly, the magic became even stronger. She could not help but walk into the room. This time, she was not stopped. The room was right in front of her, empty. The wall opposite the gate was a storage shelf with layers. There was something in there that looked very much like an ATM at a bank. She walked forward and put her hands upon the misty screen, and soon, she was greeted with a lot of information. It told her what she should do with that ATM. Qiao Xian smiled brightly. This device was not only going to help her distinguish every plant in her space, but was also going to offer all kinds of answers related to plants. Chapter 432, Trash Space into Treasure. As her superpower grew stronger, she would get richer and get more answers from this machine. For example, if she got some precious and good things but had no idea what they were, she could come to the machine and try to figure out the significance of it through the machine and find the answer. For another example, if she wanted to know how to process some kind of tea leaves, she could turn to the machine and get the instructions here. When it was upgraded to another degree, she would have no problem improving the current technological problems, rakes, or the farming tools. The grids and boxes leaning against the wall were all for storage. She could put everything that was not alive inside. Each grid had a volume of 100 cubic meters, which would be enough for her for however long it was. They could be categorized neatly, very handy. Not all the grids were activated, but the very bottom row was already enough for her. That pleased Qiao Xian a great deal. The trash space had already been updated to turn into a place of treasure. She just could not help but give it a try, so she picked 2 leaves of golden sprout, put them on the screen of the machine and read inside her heart. Soon, there appeared a line that displayed the name, features, and fragrance along with the processing methods for the golden sprout clearly. What was more magical was that due to the special connection between her conscience and the things in the space, she only read it once and remembered it all. That was wonderful. As long as the processor was skilled and good at processing the tea leaves, it would not matter if he did not know how to process golden sprouts and lavender. She had not done it before, but she had a lot of knowledge with her. After this, Qiao Xian put some leaves of fruit trees and gastrodia so as to find out some instructions about them. For example, how should gastrodia be planted and taken care of, and how it should be used, what could lemons be used for, and how to make the best plum wine and dried fruits, etc. She was having great fun with it. She did not leave the place until a long while later. Back to where she lived, Qiao Xian put her money, land contracts as well as the excellent garments and jewelries along with the extracted oil from flowers into the space. She finally felt much more assured. In this way, she would never worry about thieves. This place was completely safe. How wonderful! Xiao Yunduan was very surprised to see that she was walking proudly and cheerfully. He couldn't help asking her, "Mind sharing the good news with me?" Qiao Xian looked delighted, but she could not reveal too much, so she smiled brightly hearing her husband's question. "I am just very happy. Look at my mushrooms, they are so well harvested, and our new house is almost done, everything is great." Xiao Yunduan nodded and laughed. "Yeah, everything is great, we should be happy." "Yeah." They smiled at each other. The following day, Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan went to the Zhang village again. Chapter 433, All well-being. Erju and his wife, as well as Madame Zhou, land officer, and his wife were all helping them out, so everything went well there. Ding Erju and Ms. Zhou were down-to-earth people, and the land officer and his wife might try and do some tricks on them. But Madame Zhou was smart, and she was older than everyone else. So, if she said something as an elderly woman and was reasonable enough, no one would dare counter her. The land officer and his wife were both people who understood what was best for them. They were not able to trick the couple and simply decided to work hard and devotedly instead. Therefore, everything went on smoothly. When Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian went over, it would take 3 more days before the land was settled. Xiao Yunduan expressed his gratitude and appreciation towards the land officer with a smile. "You are very reliable. We will probably need you to hire some more people to help us with the tea tree planting, also for weeding, trimming, picking, and so on." The land officer's eyes sparkled, and he said with a smile, Okay, young Master Xiao. Don't worry, as long as you entrust us to do the work, we will definitely make sure all is done well, and you will be satisfied. The land officer could not help but feel relieved that he did not cause any unpleasantness in this task, otherwise the long-term work would not be entrusted to them again. Due to this assignment, almost every household had managed to earn some money. They were able to afford a few new clothes, blankets, snacks, and some other things, which were very beneficial for them. Xiao Yunduan nodded at him with a smile. The land officer was definitely going to tell the Zhang village about this. In order to have a long collaboration, they knew clearly what they should do. After the land officer left, Xiao Yunduan, Qiao Xian spoke with Ding Erju and Ms. Zhou about building a new house. Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan already had the plan ready. They were going to build 2 yards and 2 wing yards. The smaller wing yard was for storage of farming tools and food. The bigger wing yard was to be used as the processing workshop and storing tea leaves. The creeping figs could be processed here, so the house needed to be built well. Qiao Xian even decided that when the house was constructed, they would buy 2 guarding dogs for Ding Erju to keep for patrolling and safeguarding the area. Moreover, the front yard could be spared for Ding Erzu's family to live in. Outside the yard, she wanted to make a vegetable garden where a patch of fruit trees would be built, as well as a 2-mu pool for fish, lotus roots and water chestnut. They could even raise some ducks and geese. Some chicken as well. They would even come over to enjoy a few leisurely days. When the house was finished, the craftsmen could come and start the construction here. They were definitely going to finish the construction before the new year. Ding Erju and his family did not need to worry about the hut that would leak wind. At that time, Madame Zhou could help to take care of the grandchildren and keep an eye on the workers. Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian believed that it was a good plan. Madame Zhou was smart and capable. She could watch the workers for them whilst teaching Ms. Zhou how to deal with the situation, so Ms. Zhou could learn these skills for future tasks. Chapter 434, Result of Investigation. On the way home, Qiao Xian smiled at Xiao Yunduan. When Aunt Weijing heard about our business at the Zhang village, she said that we ought to buy some servants simply because we are going to have much to deal with and we need to cultivate people for the future. Xiao Yunduan nodded. Yeah, we should do so. Qiao Xian frowned. But that is not very easy to do. It is never easy to find people who are reliable. Let's take it slow. Xiao Yunduan smiled. We can visit the province in spring and check it out. We can hire some reliable employees to sign a contract for 10 to 15 years. In this way, we will have some people working for us in the long term. Qiao Xian's eyes sparkled. Yeah, true. As long as we are able to afford the laborers, we can always get good ones. She thought for a while and smiled. We can even ask Aunt Weijing to help us as the middle person. With her around, I am sure we can hire better ones. Xiao Yunduan nodded and smiled. Yeah, there are a few tenants who seem nice. If they want, we can hire them and sign a contract with them for 10 years or more. Qiao Xian felt assured when this issue was solved. Otherwise, she was really wondering what she should do in the long term. They needed to hire the local villagers, otherwise there would be conflicts. But if they all hired people from the Zhang village, there would be the possibility that they ganged up together to create trouble. If something happened, they could handle that, but the trouble was after all trouble, and it should be avoided in all probability. So, they needed to work it out in a good way. If they bought the employees, they could just work together with the tenants who were not from the Zhang village. Then, they could select some good ones from the Zhang village, so that they could maintain a balance for future development. At the Yuezhing family in the province, Ms. Mi Jr. was used to reading people's thoughts. She believed that the first section of the family would never cause any trouble because they always wanted to keep old master steady. She was already used to that. Therefore, she was bold enough to spread the rumor through her maid. In her opinion, there was no point in fearing that the first section of the family would get to know about her deeds. It was always going to be forgiven anyway, wasn't it? It was the first section of the family who wanted to stay away from trouble. Therefore, when Ms. Jean spoke of the investigation and got support from Madame Yuezhing, Ms. Mi Jr. did not really care. She felt that Madame Yuezhing was just saying that casually and Ms. Jean was not as strong as she looked. She would not dare to cause any trouble. She would not want the first section of the family to be disturbed. Honestly, she herself was the senior person at the mansion and it was not so easy to pick on her. Since Ms. Mi Jr. did not care, Ms. Jean had no trouble finding the clues leading to Auntie Shueisho, who was working for Ms. Mi Jr. Ms. Jean ordered Shueisho and some other older maids who were close to Ms. Mi Jr. to be taken to Madame Yuezheng's yard, where she told Madame Yuezhing the truth. Madame Yuezhing was dumbfounded as well. Chapter 435, Settlement. Madame Yuezhing just wanted to find the servants who spread the rumor, but she had not expected that Ms. Jean caught Ms. Mi Jr.'s closest maid. What surprised her was Miss Jean's purpose. Was she trying to break up with the second section of the family? Miss Jean snapped angrily. I don't think the second aunt knows about this. These servants spread rumors about the master and try to turn them against each other all the time. Madame Yuezheng, we must not keep any of these people. Madame Yuezheng's face sank and she nodded sternly. You are right, they should not be kept. Speak with your second aunt, and get rid of them. Yes, Madame Yuezheng. Miss Jean answered and ordered those servants to be taken to Miss Mi Jr. Hearing that the servants were taken away by Miss Jean, Miss Mi Jr. got furious and also surprised. She rushed to Madame Yuezheng's yard and on the way there, she ran into Miss Jean. How dare you, Miss Jean? Miss Mi Jr. glared at Miss Jean, looking rather furious. She was slapping right on her face. Everyone knew that Miss Jean had caught her maids, and if she did not try to protect them, she would become the laughingstock of the family. She was already very humiliated when her niece found out the truth. Here you are, second aunt. Madame Yuezheng asked me to bring those people to you and discuss with you about how to deal with them. Miss Jean smiled and narrated the whole process. Her words were quite clear. Firstly, she caught these people based on evidence, and Miss Mi Jr. could see the evidence if she wanted to. Secondly, she had already told Madame Yuezheng about this and the old lady had ordered a serious punishment. Miss Mi Jr.'s face turned green as she glared at Miss Jean. With a sneering voice, she said, Good, niece, you are good at catching people who are working for me. Why not speak with me first? Do you not intend to respect me as your second aunt? You are not a good wife. Don't be mad, second aunt. I was on my way to tell you about this. Miss Jean smiled. I was just too angry about the fact that this bitchy maid works for you. How dare she spread rumors behind your back? She must be trying to turn us against each other, so that we are not able to get on well with each other. I am just worried that she will make up stories in front of you. What if you believe her again, and the relationship between us is ruined? That is why I caught her first, in case something terrible happens. I am not disrespecting you, second aunt, please, open your eyes and see. You, second aunt, this bitch is so cruel that she cursed her master and spread rumors. Due to this, the whole mansion is in a mess. She can't be kept, or things would get worse at home. That is what Madame Yuezheng said too. What do you think, second aunt? Ms. Mi Jr. got so annoyed that she could not utter any words to counter that. Shueisha was surprised and scared, but she struggled and looked up at Miss Mi Jr., begging her to save her. She had obeyed her mistress' words and conducted all of these actions. Her mistress had to save her. Seeing their reactions, Miss Jean smiled. Shueisha, are you trying to imply that you need to speak with your mistress? Take out the cloth from her mouth. Hold on, save your breath. Chapter 436, New House MS. Mi Jr.'s vein on forehead popped, as she said coldly, this bitch must have spread rumors for sure. Feed her a dose of the mute drug and beat her, then sell her out. Then she glanced at Miss Jean, sneering meaningfully. You are excellent, niece. You can deal with this matter properly. But you must take care of yourself in the future because there will be a lot for you to care about. Don't be too busy. Miss Jean sorted inwardly. She was threatening her, right? All right then, she was ready for anything. 2 months, just 2 months, and then all bitterness would come to an end. Her in-laws would return to the mansion and she was going to see what else she could do. Thanks for your reminder, second aunt, I definitely will. Miss Mi Jr. sneered and left in fury. Miss Jean did not soften her heart. She gathered all the servants of the mansion and punished Shueisha and the servants in front of everyone. Shueisha was the main culprit, so she was hit 30 times and directly sent to the abbey. At the abbey, she was going to be fed with mute drugs, and when her wounds were cured, she would be sold out of the province. The others were hit 20 times and got sent to the abbey to do labor work, whilst some honest and down-to-earth ones would be picked to replace them at the mansion. The whole mansion got really shocked when they saw how first young madam suddenly turned so lethal. They were all frightened, especially those who had been used to doing small tricks. Their hearts were throbbing nervously. Hearing the news, Miss Me Jr. got so annoyed that she smashed some teacups and decided to take revenge on Miss Jean. But she had no idea that soon, Old Master and First Madam would return to the mansion, and by that time, she would have no position at the mansion at all. At Shouting Village, the first section of the family's new house was soon finished. Many villagers came to watch the new house and pass on the congratulations. The whole family was very happy, and they had prepared some snacks for the visitors. The yard is so huge. Oh, there are small yards and gardens in the main yard. Look at the bricks on the floor, so magnificent. They are rich and willing to spend the money, so everything looks great. Yeah. I wish we could have such a huge house as well. This joke made people laugh, and someone mocked back. Maybe in your next the villagers took a tour around the house and felt both emotional and jealous. They all clearly understood one thing. No matter whether they felt jealous or other things, the first section of the family had gone one step higher this time. They felt envious, but they thought about befriending the first section of the family, so that one day, they might be able to get some benefit from the first section of the family, just like Xiao Dolly and his family. Therefore, no matter what they were thinking, they could not help but utter some flattering words. Even when it came to fifth Grandma Ding, who felt extremely nervous inside her heart, did not say anything to offend the people around. Chapter 437. Too late. The second and third section of the family came to look at the new house too. The 2 extra rooms built at the second section of the family were already finished, but compared to this new house of the first section of the family, the 2 rooms were just nothing. That made second uncle and Ms. Nyo feel jealous and gloomy. Widow's son was among the crowd, watching the show too. With every step that she took, she felt her heart dripping water. She felt so regretful. If she had known that Xiao Yunduan would achieve this much and the first section of the family would get rid of the second and third section of the family, she would have surely hooked up her daughter with Xiao Yunduan. If that had happened, she would have been a part of this new house too. She was the mother-in-law and she would have been able to move in. But now it was too late. It didn't look like she would be able to find someone better to marry her daughter to. Widow's son felt so annoyed. When she saw Ms. Nyo, who seemed to feel even worse, she decided to make some noise with her again. Ms. Nyo sneered, as she heard what she was told. The first section of the family were all horrible people. After the new house was built, the following step was decoration. The decorating materials were all environmentally friendly, so the quality was guaranteed. They were prepared when the new house was being built. Soon, the windows, doors and furniture were all moved in at this moment. Qiao Xian did not spare any money in making the window with transparent glaze, which was definitely better than the paper window. It looked beautiful and bright, and everyone spoke highly of it except for eldest uncle. As for the furniture, Qiao Xian wasn't that particular. The tables, chairs, stools, and shelves in the living room were all made of high-quality fur. The wardrobes and couches in the room were made of high-quality fur or camphor. It was covered with tung oil all over, bright and clean, and the texture was excellent. People in the village needed everything to be practical. She could afford mahogany, ebony furniture, but that was not suitable. 5 days passed, and the whole house was done decorating. The 6th day was an auspicious day to move in, and the whole family shifted in happily. Miss Fang and eldest uncle were located in the front room, and the 4 yards belonged to Xiao Yunduan's 4 brothers. There was a 2-store wing house at the southeast side, and Tao Tao moved into this place since she did not want to live in the front yard. Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan got the best and broadest yard. Xiao Yunduan needed to study, so the best yard was for him to live in, and Qiao Xian came from a special family, which made it totally reasonable that she picked it. No one countered the choice. Instead, they were so grateful to move into such a wonderful house, which was all thanks to Qiao Xian. Qiao Xian liked her yard very much. The room was really broad, and there was one inner room and 2 wing rooms. She could do all kinds of experiments she wanted and did not have to hide from anyone. The patio in the yard was quite large. She had asked people to build 2 flower beds, and was going to plant some flowers and trees in spring, plant 2 magnolias and a pomegranate in the corner, and also plant some roses, rhododendrons and other low flowers and plants in the small backyard. The original spring was well protected and remodeled during the construction of the house. After the remodeling, there were still places for drinking water in the backyard. The backyard was twice as big as the previous ones, so they simply built a square pond with a height of half a person and about 5 square meters with black bricks near a courtyard wall to raise some fish. Chapter 438. New house. A wooden board covered half of it, while displaying the other half. The fish was kept inside, and could be scooped out for cooking whenever they wanted. There was an exit below the sink for changing water. The wide ground in the backyard of the patio was full of flat green bricks that were spliced seamlessly. It was very convenient to dry the recovered rice, harvested taro, corn, and beans for later use. A shed had been built for the chicken coop, and the duck coop on the other side of the backyard. Further back, there was a 1-person high wall, as well as a spacious cowshed. Miss Fang had decided to raise a cow and a donkey. She also had another cart built, so that Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian could travel into the town comfortably without having to worry. The first section of the family's life was getting better and better. Miss Fang and Miss Su were taking a walk around, looking really happy. When flowers and trees grew in spring, they could open some areas to grow vegetables, and the yard would flourish even more. Miss Su was roaming in her new, broad room, touching the glazed window and the furniture, looking at the bricks on the ground, smiling constantly. Now, her daughter and son had separate rooms too, and her room with her husband was enormous, with all kinds of furniture and a large space. That made her feel so happy. More importantly, they did not spend any personal money to do any of this. All the things inside the room were bought from the shared savings, which made her feel really glad as well. Eldest uncle was glad too. But he found it to be incredible. You sold the plants and gained this much. Are the plants so valuable these days? He did not spend any money nor was in charge of handling the money, but he could tell that the glass on the windows was quite expensive. Miss Fang did not want to discuss this topic with him. The house was built and he had moved in, what else could he say? Miss Qiao offered some help. She said that the house should be well built so we could live a more comfortable life. Look at what we have got. Eldest uncle sighed and had nothing to say. His brothers were angry about the whole episode, and they did not even greet him. He knew what they were thinking. True, building a house was too much of a waste, and if they could save some money, he could have offered some help to his brothers too. But they did not do so. That was why his brothers were so displeased inside the heart. But Miss Qiao offered the same reason, after which he would have nothing to say. Miss Qiao did not stop repeating her words. No nephew's wife supported the uncle's family. It would turn us into a laughing stock. They were all glad on the moving day. Qiao Xian prepared some food. Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni went into the town and bought some meat and tofu home. Qiao Xian picked some nice-looking mushrooms, chopped some meat, added some scallions and seasonings and made a dish of mushrooms with meat. Miss Su ground some rice and made a dish called ribs with rice flour. Braised pork belly, stewed pork belly with soybeans, peanuts, and lotus seeds, stir-fried pork liver with green onions, and sauerkraut and miscellaneous fish pot were cooked as well. Finally, sugar-coated yams, scallions, tofu and garlic vegetables were all put on the spacious and clean dining room, giving out a wonderful fragrance. Due to the move into the new house, Qiao Xian had prepared a jar of wine as well. It was a happy day for everyone. Chapter 439, The Qiao Family Translator. Henry translations. On the day when the first section of the family moved in, the second and the third section of the family came over to check out the new place. The more they looked at it, the more sour they became. So, they decided not to look at it anymore. They should at least treat them to some food when they move into a new house. They were waiting for the first section of the family to pass on the invitation, and despite the anger, they still wanted to eat the free food. However, the first section of the family never sent out any invitation, which made them really furious. What are they being so arrogant about? They do not want to accept us as family anymore, right? Alright then, we don't care. They should never ask us for help ever again. Unlike the second and third section of the family, those from the first section of the family were all sleeping well in their new house. Everything was spacious and wide in the new house. Moreover, Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian could even have their separate rooms. However, they seemed to have forgotten about this. They were still sharing the same room. Qiao Xian was rolling on the bed happily, feeling glad inside her heart. This was the countryside life she had been looking forward to enjoying. There was no shortage of food, clothing and housing. There were flower fields and gardens. The fruit trees produced endless fruits. The vegetable fields had the freshest vegetables. There were chickens, ducks and geese in the backyard, and as much fresh fish and shrimp as she wanted. There were all kinds of mushrooms, bamboo shoots, wild vegetables, wild fruits, and other things in the mountains, which could be harvested throughout the year. They were also able to make enough money for life easily. She could go out when she wanted to, or stay at home if she wanted to. On rainy days, the whole family could gather together to make dumplings, glutinous rice balls, steam rice cakes, and various other snacks. It was all so wonderful. However, she needed to remove the danger of the Qiao family so that this wonderful life could last. Qiao Xian needed to become stronger. The following morning, Miss Fang asked eldest uncle to inform his brothers and the families to come over and eat dinner at the new house. Miss Fang never skipped on what she needed to do. Eldest uncle headed off immediately. He had wanted to ask his brothers' families to eat the day before, but Miss Fang said that the house was too messy to receive any guests, and that they should do it the next day. Eldest uncle believed that too, so he gave up on the idea. But that was not the point. The whole family wanted to have a good first day. Why would they need the second and third section of the family to cause them trouble? They wanted to spend a happy day alone. As to why Miss Fang asked eldest uncle to inform his brothers' families, it was not because she was afraid of the gossip. It was reasonable that they did not hold the banquet on the previous day. But if they did not invite them all together, that would look intentional. Qiao Xian did not cook dinner. It was Miss Su and Yang Xiaoni who cooked, since she already did a lot of cooking the day before. They prepared 1 chicken, 1 duck, and they fetched some carrots, vegetables and leeks, as well as some yams, mushrooms, wooden ears which would lead up to 2 full tables. They would have more people into the family in the future, so they had 1 large dining room built in the house. The place could hold 4 tables, or even 6. Chapter 440, More sour. The dining room was connected to the main room at one end, protruding towards the patio, and it was perpendicular to the main room at right angles. It was rectangular, with one side facing the kitchen and was separated by a door. On the wall opposite the door was a set of cupboards and a row of chests of drawers almost as tall as a person. In addition, there were 6 windows in the middle of the 2 opposite walls, which were inlaid with light-colored glass. During the day, the sun shone in from the windows, which was very bright. The food was put on the table, and Miss Fang smiled and greeted everyone from the second and third section of the family. After the first section of the family finished cleaning things up, the other two sections of the family visited the place for the first time. Seeing that the house was neat and tidy everywhere, the brand new furniture was made of good wood, and beautifully made, they had already turned sour inside and out. They felt even more jealous when they saw the dining room. Miss Zhang could not help but snort. "Eldest auntie, you keep saying that your windows are made of glaze, which is not cheap at all. You are saying this because you are afraid of loaning us money, right?" The eyes of the two sections of the family sparkled. They all nodded vigorously. Miss Fang smiled and said calmly, "Right." Miss Zhang. Ms. Ma could not help but shout. "Eldest sister-in-law, you are not treating us as your family. What can I do? I am already very scared. You have borrowed a lot of money from us, but you have not returned any. I have been fooled many times, and I need to learn something from the past lessons, right?" Third uncle coughed. "But we are running short of money. If we have some, we will definitely return it to you." Miss Fang responded. "Sure, I believe you, but you must be running out of money even in a dozen years too, right? It seems that I am not looking forward to receiving any money from you anytime soon. Also, I like to spend money in the way I want to. What can you say about it, anyway?" Qiao Xian chuckled. "Mom, you are right. You can even throw some coins in the water and that would have nothing to do with any of us." Miss Fang laughed. "That is true." The others felt so annoyed. Miss Zhang glared at Qiao Xian, looking furious. She was a nobly born lady with a lot of dowry, wasn't she? But she was so damned rude. Young Xiaoni looked at them, licked her lips and smiled at Miss Fang. "Mom, the dishes would turn cold if we don't hurry. I am starving a little." Young Xiaoni was very confident about her cooking skills, thinking that her cooking skills were good. More importantly, the ingredients were good. The freshly cooked chicken, the ducks, which were put inside the pot for frying and boiling. She had already been drooling with the fragrance. Eldest uncle asked the second uncle and everyone else to gather around the table. "Come and sit, let's eat together." Everyone sat down. They were very displeased, but there was nothing they could say or do apart from feeling wronged. The two tables were divided between men and women, and the women's side was not very friendly. Ms. Niu and the others did not want to talk, so they just buried their heads in eating. They tried to comment in the middle. "The chicken is too thin, there are too few eggs," but Miss Fang and her daughters-in-law ignored it all. At the men's table, second uncle and third uncle talked more. They kept saying how the family should be united and the first section of the family should help others. They even mentioned their deceased parents, crying sourly. "Eldest brother, you are living a life that we are all jealous of. If our parents could live to the present day, they would be so glad to enjoy such life with us. We are so useless, but eldest brother, you are really capable." Chapter 441, Xiao Yunduan's distress. Eldest uncle felt really uncomfortable upon hearing that. He comforted the second and third section of the family. "The children are all grown up and everything is going to be well. If you need any help, just tell me." Second uncle and third uncle felt even worse. "What was the point of telling you? Could you force Miss Qiao to offer her money? You were just saying good words." Xiao Sanlang, and she did not care what they were talking about. They kept eating food with their heads buried. Xiao Erlang did the same, which made the two uncles annoyed again. The dishes were almost gone while they were talking. Xiao Yunduan chuckled inwardly. This was the best and easiest way to deal with them. After dinner, second uncle and the others left directly. What was the point of staying here? Everything made them feel so annoyed. After a couple of days, it was time for Xiao Yunduan to go back to college. Unexpectedly, he ran into Zhao Guanghua again in college. Brother Yunduan. Zhao Guanghua sounded as if they were close. He approached him and patted him on the shoulders in a pretentiously passionate way. Xiao Yunduan dodged his hand, took a few steps backwards, and said kindly, "Young Master Zhao, what is the matter?" Zhao Guanghua was not a cultivated talent, so he should not be here to discuss the articles. He had not been here before either. Xiao Yunduan was a little confused. Especially when this man treated him so kindly all of a sudden. Xiao Yunduan did not think that Zhao Guanghua had the intention of befriending him. Brother Yunduan. Zhao Guanghua smiled. We are all good friends, Brother Yunduan. You don't need to be estranged from me. Xiao Yunduan smiled and replied politely. Sorry, I have got some work to do. Farewell. Hey, Zhao Guanghua stopped Xiao Yunduan and said with a smile, we can chat next time, but Dean Meng wants you in his study, so please, Brother Yunduan, don't keep him waiting for too long. Xiao Yunduan blinked and nodded. Okay, thanks for the message. Ha, don't mention it. Xiao Yunduan went away from Zhao Guanghua. However, 1 hour later, when Xiao Yunduan and several cultivated talents were discussing with Mr. Wu, who was holding the gathering, 3 students rushed in from the college and said that Xiao Yunduan sneaked into Dean Meng's study. He broke his favorite orchid and left from there. They kept saying that he was not respectful towards the teacher and should not be in the college or attend any examination. They even tried to force him to get punished at Dean Meng's place. Everyone was very surprised. Xiao Yunduan sneered and sorted the timeline in his head, including the time when he walked into the college and with whom, and what time Zhao Guanghua spoke with him and who could be the witnesses. Later, he said goodbye to Zhao Guanghua and came to this place with some people. He mentioned this in front of everyone and even pointed out that he had been in the room all this while, and since no one left the place during this time, it meant that everyone in the room could be his witness. So, when did he have the time to visit Dean Meng's study? Dean Meng's study was located in a different direction from here. Although no one understood what was going on, what Xiao Yunduan said was right. They all nodded in agreement. Some students who were in a good relationship with him started defending him. The ones who had come to make the report panicked. They were dumbfounded. That was not how the plan was supposed to go. Chapter 442, A Strike Back. Didn't Xiao Yunduan go to Dean Meng's study at all? But, didn't he mention that Zhao Guanghua told him to? Well, even if he mentioned that, Zhao Guanghua would have denied the accusation. Xiao Yunduan had no proof that Zhao Guanghua did pass on the message. If that happened, then he would drag down some innocent classmate. But he did not mention Zhao Guanghua, because Zhao Guanghua would not step out and admit that himself. Seeing their faces change, Xiao Yunduan smiled and said gently, "You must have been mistaken, right? Don't worry, it's fine, we have talked through the misunderstanding." The 3 of them did not dare to say anything more, but nodded with a smile and hurried away. Xiao Yunduan narrowed his eyes. He and Zhao Guanghua were not good friends. He would not be so stupid as to follow his order. He instantly got 3 classmates to keep him company after he separated from Zhao Guanghua, creating a solid alibi. He had no idea what Zhao Guanghua was up to, but he did not think that it was anything good. Zhao Guanghua tried to set him up, by pushing him into a position where he had no others to help him. But if he was accompanied by witnesses, he would not lose his credibility. Dean Meng got extremely angry. Soon, Xiao Yunduan and the 3 students were taken to Dean Meng. Xiao Yunduan had nothing to do with this matter, and he was just misjudged, but he knew clearly that Dean Meng was not an open-minded person, and would always try to drag someone down. Interrogated by Dean Meng, the 3 students could not hold it anymore. They felt so embarrassed. They were from ordinary families, and one of them was suffering from poverty, so none of them dared to point out that Zhao Guanghua was the main culprit. As a result, they had to admit that it was them who did the whole thing. But they argued as well. Xiao Yunduan is always very arrogant. He bullies us and we hate how he puts on airs. That is why we tried to teach him a lesson. Dean, we are sorry, but Xiao Yunduan is not totally innocent. True. But for his arrogance, we would not have done a thing like this. Dean Meng glanced at Xiao Yunduan coldly. Xiao Yunduan, who intended to say something, decided to stay silent instead. Apparently, Dean Meng bought the ridiculous excuses, or at least half of it. In that case, Xiao Yunduan did not need to give any explanation. It would not work anyways. Xiao Yunduan, what do you want to say? Dean, this is totally ridiculous. We have never hung out together and the relationships are at peace. What do they mean by humiliating and bullying? Please, I request you to clear my name which has been wrongly dragged into this. Dean Meng sneered. How dare you push your conflicts onto me? I don't care about this, just leave. The three students got so startled that they kept begging for forgiveness. Xiao Yunduan was shocked. But he said nothing. Dean Meng was very determined, he said coldly with sleeves flung aside, just get out now, one more word, and I will get someone to drive you out directly, then you will be humiliated. The three students got so startled as if they were chicken with hands over their necks, that they had no sound to utter. Xiao Yunduan bowed and said, thanks for your tutoring, Dean, I am leaving now. He quit the room first. Chapter 443, Elder Miss Qiao's words. The three of them exchanged a look and left as well. Xiao Yunduan felt very peaceful. He did not feel like coming to this place either. He had been to 2 provinces twice and learned a lot from there. So he could just digest what he had obtained in his head. He did not have to be here. He walked out of the college and saw the wagon parked not far away. It was Zhao Guanghua who had just lifted the drapery and smiled at him. Xiao Yunduan turned around and walked towards him. I don't understand why you want to set me up. Zhao Guanghua sneered and said indifferently, I don't like you, so I did it. It happened, right? You are out of college, no? Good. Ha ha ha. Xiao Yunduan left without a word. Zhao Guanghua threw a disdainful look at his retreating figure, put down the drapery and ordered the coachman to go home. Zhao Guanghua did not like Xiao Yunduan. But Xiao Yunduan was Xiao Lulang's cousin and Xiao Lulang kept flattering him, yet Xiao Yunduan did not do so, which made Zhao Guanghua feel annoyed. He would not have done anything under normal circumstances, but Elder Miss Qiao told his sister Zhao Ming about how to drive Xiao Yunduan out of Minghua College. That made Zhao Guanghua feel motivated. He was quite willing to work for Elder Miss Qiao. He was expecting to gain some benefits from Elder Miss Qiao and her father for his family. What if Elder Miss Qiao felt moved and decided to marry him? That would make everything so good. That was why he decided to make this incident happen. Zhao Guanghua did not order anyone to pass on the message to Qiao Wei at the mansion. Instead, he was going to tell Elder Miss Qiao the detailed story over dinner at restaurant Yanhe when his sister went to visit Qiao Wei. If they could talk over food a few times, their relationship would definitely become better. Qiao Wei decided to do so because after speaking with her mother the other day about ripping Xiao Yunduan of his title as cultivated talent, she realized that it was not so easy. She did not think that Xiao Yunduan would become a recommended man either, so she dropped the idea. But she still felt really annoyed. Hence, she came up with the idea about driving Xiao Yunduan away from the college. She did not think that a poor cultivated talent like Xiao Yunduan had any talent, so if he was driven out of the college, he would get distressed and would not be able to move on. It would effectively cut away his means to take the examination. She could not do it herself. But she had heard Zhao Ming mentioning about her brother who was also at Minghua College, so she went to Zhao Ming and asked her to get her brother to do the task. Hearing the result, Qiao Wei felt very satisfied. She even gave a box of cosmetics to Zhao Ming. She could tell that Zhao Guanghua was trying to suck up to her, but she did not care about the flattery. She was used to enjoying his attention all the time. Her fiancé was from a duke family in the capital, and Zhao Guanghua was just a son of some rural businessman. How dare he dream about marrying her? Back at home, Xiao Yunduan did not show any difference in his demeanor. But Qiao Xian sensed something. She asked him in private. Did anything unpleasant happen at the college? You don't seem to be in a good mood today. Chapter 444, Possibility. Xiao Yunduan laughed. You sensed it? Qiao Xian was startled, asking directly. For real? What happened? Xiao Yunduan, who had not wanted to say it in the first place, did not conceal the incident and revealed the whole truth. In the end, he said, it is not a big deal anyway. Qiao Xian got so annoyed. Is it the young master Zhao who visited cousin the other day? He is so horrible. Good that you did not get tricked, otherwise it would be very difficult to get your name cleared. It was an imperfect plan, but it worked out well in the end. If Xiao Yunduan had visited Dean Meng's study and Zhao Guanghua denied that he passed on the message, then Xiao Yunduan would have had no excuse to defend himself. Zhao Guanghua was wealthy and gentle, and the college would have definitely taken his words into account. Even if this was put into the governmental office, her father would not have defended Xiao Yunduan because he would have thought that this was too humiliating for him. Worse, he would even accuse him of the wrongdoings. Xiao Yunduan smiled. This man is not a moral person, and I have never hung out with him, so I would never have believed him, especially since he suddenly tried to get close to me. Qiao Xian smiled. Other people might have ignored this point because no one would expect that he would dare to plot the dean. But you are so smart. Ha! Honestly, Dean Meng is not a nice person either. You were misjudged, and he even ordered punishment for you. Xiao Yunduan said, it doesn't matter. I don't need to go to college any longer. My studies would not be affected. But I just can't tolerate this injustice. Suddenly, Qiao Xian thought and said, you don't think that Zhao Guanghua bought out Dean Meng as well, do you? Moreover, Zhao Guanghua would not be affected even if you are not at the college, right? Why did he suddenly do this, for your cousin's sake? Your cousin isn't that powerful in his eyes, right? Qiao Xian had never met Zhao Guanghua before, but she had met Zhao Ming before. People like them would not treat Xiao Lulang as a true friend, nor do anything for him. The more she thought about this matter, the more confused she became. Xiao Yunduan had some speculations. He had never been enemies with anyone, and the only people who held a big grudge against him were the Qiao family. They ran into Qiao Ko and Qiao Wei the other day, and he met with such an incident now. How could he not think that there wasn't any connection between the two? He did not want to tell Qiao Xian about this in case she felt guilty. It was not necessary to mention this guest to her. Fearing that Qiao Xian may think about this aspect, Xiao Yunduan interrupted her contemplation gently. No one knows what someone is thinking about. It is not strange that people do something stupid at any time. I can still study for the imperial examination at home, which is better for me too. Qiao Xian nodded. If she continued to talk about this, she might make him feel even worse, so she stopped discussing it and tried to encourage Xiao Yunduan so that he could feel better. Xiao Yunduan let out a sigh of relief seeing that she did not mention this topic anymore. It was getting very cold outside, and the wild chestnuts and persimmons in the mountains should be ripe. That made Qiao Xian feel highly motivated. It was a fine day when everyone went into the mountains to seek the wild chestnuts. Qiao Xian soon found a large patch of wild chestnuts on a flat hill. Since there were few people in the deep mountains, many chestnuts that fell on the ground had not been picked. There were some chestnuts with shells, rolling in the fallen leaves and grass, like little hedgehogs. Chapter 445. Abundance. Qiao Xian and others used wooden sticks to push away the fallen leaves and weeds, and picked up the shiny black and purple chestnuts, placing them into the basket. Those chestnuts that were still wrapped in thorn bags were broken open with stones, and the chestnuts inside were taken out. There was a big patch here, and many of them had fallen. They only needed to pick up the ones on the ground. There were also many trees, and the branches were covered with dark green and light green thorns. They simply needed to climb up the tree and shake the branches, and the fruits would fall down. There could be no one standing under the tree, or they would get bumps all over the head, which might cause some hurt. Young Xiaoni and Xiao Sanlang were foodies. They kept crushing the shells, picking the fruits and stuffing them into their mouths. The black and purple hard shell of the fresh chestnuts was peeled off, and then the inner layer of skin that was close to the nuts was taken off as well. When the light yellow chestnuts were eaten into the mouth, the juice was rich. It was crunchy and sweet, and the more they chewed, the more delicious it felt. They did not move an inch ever since they found this place. In the end, they harvested a lot of things. They had 4 packages which weighed nearly as much as 100 kilograms. Each of them carried some home smoothly. There are many trees, and we can come again in a week or so. We must take all of them home. There are so many of them. Yes, we can come again next time. They wondered what they could do with the chestnuts. Of course, there were many delicious things which could be made. Qiao Xian counted them one by one with a smile on her fingers. Needless to say, fresh chestnuts, stir-fried vegetables, stews, boiled or steamed are delicious. There are also fried chestnuts with sugar, which are very appealing. After they are dried, they have another taste which is equally good. Other dishes like stewed chicken with chestnuts, roasted pork ribs with chestnuts, stewed lamb with chestnuts, braised pork with chestnuts, can also be made. We can also cook porridge, make dumplings for the Dragon Boat Festival, and grind chestnuts into powder, make chestnut cakes and chestnut buns. Anyways, chestnuts are a good thing. Everyone looked forward to all of these. We can try every one of them. I feel like eating all of them. Me too. 5th sister-in-law, tell us what to do. We can work hard so you won't be tired. True. Qiao Xian smiled. Sure, we can fry fresh chestnuts with yams, steam them or something. We can start with that for tonight. Everyone smiled and nodded. Xiao Xiaoqi said regretfully, but it is getting late, and we won't possibly run into some wild animals to fry with the chestnuts. Qiao Xian smiled. Don't need to be anxious. We can dry chestnuts for an even better taste, and we can cook such dishes in the future. Back at home, they poured chestnuts into the basket, which was kept in the vacant room for sun drying. It was very broad and clean in the yard, very handy for sun drying. They picked some chestnuts, boiled them briefly, peeled off the shells, and the aroma of chestnuts wafted into everyone's nostrils. They took a bite of the flour and glutinous, which was delicate and sweet. Everyone liked it very much. Miss Fang peeled the chestnuts for her grandchildren. She smiled brightly. You are so lucky to have found so many things which no one else could find. So many chestnuts, how can we finish them all? Young Xiaoni smiled. Mom, we can finish them. The 5th sister-in-law said that we can make many delicious dishes, add them to vegetables, or porridge, ground into pastry, etc. Chapter 446, Reminder. They all laughed. Ms. Fang glared at her and said half-scoldingly, You remember everything about food. Young Xiaoni tried to explain weakly. Brother Sanlang knows more than me. Everyone laughed even harder. Miss Fang was very amused too. You are almost the same, don't blame each other. Qiao Xian smiled. She knows the mountains best and we have been there many times, so we are more lucky than others. Most importantly, we are living in harmony and hence, fortune favors us. That made Miss Fang feel quite glad. She nodded and praised Qiao Xian. Qiao Xian suddenly thought of something and smiled. Mom, I think that we can make some smoked sausage and meat, since it is getting colder. True. They were all reminded of this and nodded in agreement. We have a lot of money now, so we can make a lot of smoked sausage and meat. True, they can be preserved for a long time. We can put them into the jar and it should last us at least half a year. I am already drooling over the steamed smoked sausage and fried smoked sausage with garlic sprouts. Miss Fang smiled too. It is time to make them. You should go to the town to buy the meat, buy as much as you want. I will give you some money and we can make enough for our home and also to take some back to our natal families. They had already bought 1 bull, 1 donkey, and the wagon was ready too. So it was quite handy for them to go into the town. They would store some smoked meat and sausage in the past, no more than 10 kilograms, which would be finished after a few days. This year, things were different. Hearing that they could take the meat back to their own parents, Miss Su felt so happy and started to come up with some ideas. Qiao Xian was very interested and most knowledgeable about food. She was living a very easy life as long as the Qiao family was out of sight. They had money now, and all the food she bought was the most original, pure, green and pollution-free. The taste was really good too. Let's buy meat to make sausages, meat, pork liver, pork belly, pig heads, and pork knuckles. These can also be made into smoked meat, which is delicious. Also, we can make smoked ducks and fish. Let's pick some big ducks and long fish, which should taste better than pork. Miss Fang and the others were all shocked. No one in the village had made this kind of smoked meat before. Young Xiaoni smiled in agreement. Fifth sister-in-law is right. Her words make me feel so greedy. Mom, let's make them please. Yeah, we can fish in the river, find big fish. True. Okay. Miss Fang smiled. Let's make them all. Buy 10 big ducks home when you shop for meat on the street. They all smiled and nodded in agreement. So, the next day, Xiao Sanlang and young Xiaoni went into the town to buy meat and ducks. Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan went into the mountains to dig winter bamboos together with Tao Tao and Qi. Qi had spoken about the winter bamboo the day before, and he knew where wild bamboo forests were. Those were good things that should not be missed. Hence, they went into the mountains to dig winter bamboo. Digging bamboo needed experience. It was not that easy and did not always guarantee a good harvest. But the winter bamboo in the soil was not a problem for Qiao Xian. Chapter 447. Being busy. Qiao Xian pointed in the direction where they could find winter bamboo. She claimed that she was very experienced. That made Qi and Tao Tao glad. Half a day passed, and they found what 4 people could carry around. Without young Xiaoni and Xiao Sanlang, they would not be able to carry the things. As for Qiao Xian, what she could do most was to carry a few winter bamboos. Tao Tao could carry almost 10 kilograms. The 4 of them went down, and returned, with more than 70 kilograms winter bamboo by the end of the day. Qiao Xian did not let them dig all the winter bamboo. She had a few left behind, so that they could grow out the next year. Startled, Miss Fang did not expect that they could get this much. She smiled. Winter bamboo is a good thing, better than fresh bamboo. This entire pile should be dried. So Miss Su and a few others started to get busy. There was a cellar in the yard. After the winter bamboo shoots were taken home, some were selected and stored in the cellar and buried in the sand. In this season, it would not go bad after being stored for even 20 or 30 days. They could just pull out some whenever they needed. They were going to have a good meal of fresh bamboo. After peeling off the bamboo shoots, the slightly yellow winter bamboo shoots were firm and small, and the faint fragrance of bamboo shoots was very delicious. Such fresh winter bamboo shoots were delicious whether they were fried or sautéed with various kinds of meat. No wonder the saying went that winter bamboos were more expensive than meat. Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni went into town to buy meat. They were going to make stir-fried sliced pork with winter bamboo shoots, stewed pork ribs with winter bamboo shoots, fried sliced bamboo shoots with shiitake mushrooms, and shredded fish along with bamboo shoot soup. They intended to get up early the next day, and were going to cut the winter bamboo shoots into cubes, add meat fillings, dried plums, and soaked peas so as to make wrapped buns with fillings. These buns would be steamed. Such delicious buns would surely make everyone greedy for them. In addition to the ones kept in the cellar, Miss Fang cut the winter bamboo shoots into slices that were neither thick nor thin. She blanched them in boiling water, added enough salt, picked them up and put them in a dustpan to dry, so that they could be made into dried bamboo shoots. They were all very busy. When Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni returned home, it was already evening. Miss Fang understood that the couple must have eaten and bought a lot in the town before they decided to return home. The reason why they arrived home before the evening was because they were drooling over Qiao Xian's cooking skills. Thank goodness for that. The two of them bought half a piece of pork, and asked the butcher to cut it into pieces suitable for making smoked meat. They bought another 20 kilograms of meat for making sausages, as well as casings. They also bought what Qiao Xian asked them to, which included 3 pig heads, 6 pork knuckles, 2 pig livers, and 3 pig stomachs. They even had rib bones and pork belly with them. They managed to buy 20 ducks who quacked all the way home. They could not deal with the ducks this evening, so they were kept in the shed in the yard. Pork needed to be processed first. They were all engaged in different tasks. Qiao Xian was cooking, whilst Tao Tao and Qi helped her. Miss Fang, together with 2 of her daughters-in-law, started to wash the meat, pork knuckles, pig heads, etc. They spread a layer of coarse salt evenly, and then put them layer by layer in a clay tank. This would be marinated for about 4 or 5 days. After being taken out, it would be washed with warm water, stringed it with a straw rope, and hung above the stove. They could smoke them when they cooked food later. When time was enough, it would be turned into delicious smoked meat. Chapter 448, Smoked Fish. The sausage required a little more effort. They washed the meat, cut it into small pieces, and marinated it with various seasonings. It was put into the casing at noon the next day. After that, it was also hung on the stove to be smoked naturally. Miss Fang made the sausage whilst Miss Su and Yang Xiaoni killed the ducks. It wasn't very easy to remove the feathers from the 12 ducks, so Tao Tao and Qiao Xian helped as well. The method of making smoked ducks was similar to that of smoked meat. They just needed to clean the whole duck and hang it up. The duck selected for wax duck needed to be fat, otherwise it would only have a skeleton without meat after drying, and it would not taste good. They processed 12 ducks and kept away quite many duck feet, duck liver, duck blood, duck intestines, and duck gizzards, which were all wonderful things. The family decided to eat hot pot that night. This was the pot that Qiao Xian had asked a craftsman to make because she was greedy for it. They used the pork ribs bought the previous day to make the soup base. After boiling them, they simply stir-fried it to make a spicy pot bottom, just enough to make a double-tasting pot. Apart from the intestines, they had a few more vegetables prepared, such as yam slices, wax gourd slices, shiitake mushrooms, taro slices, winter bamboo shoots, spinach, coriander. Some fish slices, and fried meat-filled egg dumplings were also made. This accounted for a lively meal. Sure enough, they had never expected that when the intestines were put into the spicy pot, they could obtain such wonderful taste. They really wished to kill 12 more ducks the next day. The smoked meat and sausages were apparently not enough. Ms. Fang decided to buy some more meat to make another batch, so they could be hung on the stove and sun-dried for later use. Qiao Xian was greedy for sweet-tasting smoked sausages. Ms. Fang was surprised. Sweet taste. With sugar. Yeah. Qiao Xian smiled. But salt and other seasonings should be used as well, not too much, but sugar has to be enough. It would be good, trust me. Ms. Fang smiled and agreed to her request readily. I am just curious. I trust you. Let's make some soon, and we are all going to have a taste of such smoked sausages. So, it was decided that they were going to make 15 kilograms of sweet-tasting smoked sausage. When the smoked meat and sausage were settled, they were all motivated to make some smoked fish. Qiao Xian thought of the water pool she found when she entered the mountain before, so she said to Qi, "Why don't we go there? The fish in the deep pond are bigger, and it's the best for making smoked fish. Although there are big fish in the river, the number is relatively less. Also, the 3-finger-wide small fish, or mandarin fish, or yellowhead catfish are not suitable for making smoked fish." Qi agreed. But the pond was a little far from the village, and they needed to have water with them to keep the fish alive, otherwise carrying it around would be too troublesome. Also, dead fish would not be good for making smoked fish. So, they asked Xiao Daolong and Miss Su to go together. Qiao Xian had been thinking about the fish in the pond for a long time, and the fishing net was very rewarding. When pulling it to the shore, they could see countless big fish jumping around alive and kicking, revealing their snow-white belly. Large grass carp, Asian carps, and crucian carp that were more than a foot long were caught and put into buckets. The smaller ones were all thrown back into the pond. The harvest from 2 more nets was enough. Xiao Daolong, Miss Su, Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni each had 1 bucket with them, and they went back to the village together. The fish was large in size, and just 4 of them filled up a bucket. But there was enough to take back when they were all together. There was no other problem except for the distance. On the way back to the village, they ran into a few villagers who had gathered around to watch the show. Chapter 449, Busy, is that fish? It is so big. Will it taste good? It smells horrible. They are different from us, they can put oil and spices in their food, and it should taste good. I have heard that fish is served at restaurants in the city and the dishes are all very delicious. Everyone from the first section of the family laughed. Fish was taken home as food, of course. But they did not want to talk about this with the others, in case some trouble arose, like how the incident regarding mushrooms occurred. The big fish in the deep water pond looked delicious at first glance, so they specially reserved 2 fish for kimchi at night, and left the rest to be smoked. After the big fish were processed, they were marinated like smoked meat, and after a few days, they could be hung in the sun for exposure. After drying, they could be put away and stored. The first section of the family especially liked making smoked things, so they were busy for a few days. Qiao Xian went into the mountains again, and brought some chestnuts, winter bamboo, yams, and lilies back. They were either sun-dried or preserved in the cellar. They were all excellent food for winter. Qiao Xian could find a lot of wild stuff with her superpower, but she was not very interested. She only found abundant ones for personal use rather than for selling them. She had better and more relaxing ways to make money, and she did not have to run after such small earnings. So little and exhausting process. There were also a lot of persimmons, but they were too soft, and the skin would break if they touched them, and the birds in the mountains especially liked to bite this. There were also insects such as ants, who had pecked and broken these before they turned ripe. So they left those persimmons alone. There were 3 persimmon trees in Qiao Xian's garden. The branches were luxuriant and full of red fruits. Every day, they could pick a basket and a half to satisfy their hunger. Qi hunted a few more wild rabbits and roosters, all of which were going to be smoked because there were so many of them. They even fetched some fish and shrimps from the river close to the village and picked a few to keep in the pool. As December arrived, the days turned cold, and they stopped going into the mountains. Qiao Xian did not want to leave home either. They had a very solid house, enough clothes, plenty of blankets and surplus wood for winter. Miss Su, Yang Xiaoni, and Qi found the days to be boring. They either visited friends or went into the mountains to chop some wood. Qi visited the mountains every now and then. He could bring a lot of interesting things home every time he went there. There were roosters, rabbits, grouse, mountain otters, muntjac, and so on. Once, he even brought back 2 Ganoderma for Qiao Xian. The only regret was that no wild sheep had been hunted. Qi, for some reason, wanted to get a wild sheep home, no matter what. Meat was easy to preserve in winter. The winter in ancient times seemed to be extraordinarily cold. The countryside was a few degrees colder than the city. These wild game would not go bad after 3 or 4 days of storage. Moreover, Miss Fang could turn them all into smoked meat. They shared a few of them with the 2nd and 3rd section of the family. After making smoked meat, Qiao Xian suddenly started craving for sour meat, so she made 2 more pots of sour meat, one with pork belly and pork ribs, and the other with roosters. It was quite easy to do. They washed the meat and marinated it with salt for 3 or 4 days. They stir-fried the glutinous rice in an iron pan until it was fragrant and the rice grains turned slightly yellow. After cooling, they added seasonings, mixed the meat and rice, and put it in a jar. They sealed it well and it will be ready in about half a month. They could be stir-fried quickly with chili peppers, sour, salty, fresh and spicy, and were very appetizing. After doing this, the meat would also turn extra chewy. Chapter 450. A narrow encounter. While sour meat was being made, they made some preserved eggs and salted duck eggs as well. Everyone in the first section of the family spoke highly of the food, just like Qiao Xian had praised it before. They got everything prepared and they would have good food for the upcoming winter. Ding Erzhu passed on the letter, saying that the house would be built soon and asked if Qiao Xian wanted to join them. Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian paid a visit to the Zhang village soon. The villagers had worked fast and effectively. Due to Ding Erzhu and Madame Zhou's keen supervision, they did not cut down on their labor work. They had done the work according to the paper Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan gave them. The pond next to the vegetable garden had been dug by the tenants. It was finished, and there was a circle of green bricks about 1.5 meters wide that had been laid on the ground. Some pits were prepared for spring tree planting. A willow, 2 peach trees, 1 elm tree, 1 locust tree and 1 mulberry tree were planted beside the fish pond. When they grew into lush shade trees, they would not only shade the pond from the sun and cool down in summer, but also provide a place where they could sit and fish under the tree, and eat the fruit leisurely. When they could not finish the fruits, they could feed it to the fish in the pond. How wonderful! Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian were very satisfied by what they saw. The leader told them that they could have the house settled after a few more days, and they were invited to have a look at it when the work was all done. After completion, they would immediately install doors, windows, furniture, and then when the house was cleaned, people could move in within 2 days. When they left the village, it was still quite early and Qiao Xian suggested going for a walk in the town, which Xiao Yunduan agreed to. In the 12th lunar month, the town was extremely lively, with all kinds of goods around. Countless people were choosing thick cloth, cotton, buying dishes, candles, paper money, various dry goods and so on. It would be even more lively as they approached the year-end. Qiao Xian enjoyed shopping and bought a lot of odds and ends. There were small toys that children liked, silk flowers, and snacks. Xiao Yunduan kept her company and helped her hold goods. But they were unlucky to run into a few students from the college. Worse, 2 of them were Zhao Guanghua's followers. Xiao Yunduan frowned. It was too late to dodge them. Zhao Guanghua's followers knew that Zhao Guanghua hated him, so they wanted to tease him. Hence, they approached Xiao Yunduan. "Oh, look at this, aren't you Brother Xiao? I haven't seen you for a long time at college." But he is not a student of our college anymore. He has been driven out, did you forget about it? "Oh yes, it slipped my mind. Brother Xiao, I think Dean Meng punished you because he was very angry. What about us helping you out, Brother Xiao? Maybe you can apologize to Dean Meng, and he can forgive you." "Yeah, without teacher's guidance, Brother Xiao will not be able to pass the examination. Brother Xiao, don't take risks with your future." The 2 of them cooperated with each other, but Xiao Yunduan ignored it. He knew clearly that he had the evidence proving that he did not do anything. But if he apologized, things would get very different. After all, why must he apologize without having made any mistakes? "Thanks for your concern, but there is no need." Xiao Yunduan greeted them back and said gently. Qiao Xian did not like these 2 men, and said to Xiao Yunduan, "Darling, we should leave." Chapter 451, Strange elderly man. Xiao Yunduan spoke to them with a lowered head. "Sorry, we are heading home soon. You can continue with shopping." The others in the gang were in a good relationship with Xiao Yunduan, but when cultivated talent Lin and trainee Lu were teasing Xiao Yunduan, they did not dare defend them. Otherwise they might offend Zhao Guanghua, who would surely punish them in return. Hearing that he was leaving, everyone let out a sigh of relief, waving him goodbye. Cultivated talent Lin sneered. "Brother Xiao, you really don't understand that we are helping you, right? Instead, you are trying to drive us away." Trainee Lu snapped. "Brother Xiao doesn't understand our kindness, but we are still Brother Xiao's friends who care about you. If you don't want to go back to college, Brother Xiao, you can go to the elderly man who claims himself to be enriched with knowledge and wants to find a disciple. You can give it a try, maybe you can make it to a high level in the examination." "Ha ha ha, that is very true." Cultivated talent Lin laughed as well. The other students who heard about the elderly man could not help but feel like laughing. Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian left the place in a hurry. "Darling, those 2 men are so annoying. Don't get mad, just ignore them." Qiao Xian responded angrily as she took Xiao Yunduan's arm. Xiao Yunduan glanced at her, saying with a smile, "No, I am not angry, you should not be angry either." Qiao Xian was startled and laughed. "I got angry, yes, but you didn't, right?" Xiao Yunduan grinned at her. "Don't be mad. Me and them are never going to hang out together, so I don't care what they say." "Okay." Qiao Xian nodded with bent eyebrows. She felt so relaxed as she asked curiously. "But what elderly man were they talking about?" Xiao Yunduan shook his head. "No idea." Qiao Xian's eyes brightened and she suggested, "Let's go to Mingrentang and ask Manager Qin about it." The town was too small for Manager Qin not to know everything. Qiao Xian wanted to explore the man's words. She was curious about what she had heard. Xiao Yunduan could not help but laugh. His wife was just too inquisitive. He had not taken it into account, but since his wife wanted to know about this, they could visit Mingrentang. "Okay, let's go." The couple came to Mingrentang, and Manager Qin smiled. "Some more good things." Qiao Xian smiled. "Not every time. I have got many chestnuts, yams, and mushrooms at home." I will give you some if you want them. Manager Qin, who was just joking, suddenly felt like eating mushrooms. He smiled. Okay, mushrooms with chicken is the best dish ever. I am waiting for your goods to come. Qiao Xian smiled. Okay, I will bring them to you in a couple of days. Manager Qin took them to the back hall and started to talk. The couple asked about the elderly man's interest in taking disciples. Manager Qin laughed involuntarily and nodded. It's true. 3 days ago, one elderly man was here with his page boy, and they were eating at restaurant Yanhe. The elderly man claimed that he is not occupied, so he wants to take in a disciple to teach. He even has a few conditions for it. He wrote a poster and had it pasted at the gate of the restaurant Yanhe. Everyone has been laughing at him ever since. Chapter 452. Interesting man. Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian found the whole thing very interesting. We did not notice the poster when we went in. We will check it out later. Manager Qin smiled. The poster is gone. Someone ripped it off. The page boy in our medical center went to join in the fun, but after listening to a few words, the poster required that the students who want to consult him must be a cultivated talent, be under the age of 25 years, not be too fat or too short, and have a good-looking appearance. Also, he must write well, be smart and studious, be diligent, be healthy, be on call and so on. But most importantly, be in line with his feelings. So, even if that disciple meets every other condition, but does not stand in line with his feelings, he will not pass on any knowledge to him. This is just a joke. He is trying to make a show of it. At least I think so. Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian. Really? The man seems very interesting. Haha. Manager Qin had no more information to share. When they were done with the conversation, they stayed for a while and then bid farewell to Manager Qin. Qiao Xian smiled. Darling, I think that the man is interesting. Let's go and explore. Xiao Yunduan helplessly threw a look at Qiao Xian, smiling. Let's just go home. Qiao Xian was very curious, and just could not help but think about this. She tried to convince Xiao Yunduan harder. But I think that people who dare to brag this much must have some skills. Let's just go and take a look, alright. If he is a big liar, we can go home directly. Manager Qin said that the person lives at Linhe village in the southern outskirts. It's in the same direction as our home, just requires a few more turns. Xiao Yunduan could not say anything to counter her, so he just nodded in agreement. They left the town and headed to Linhe village. The elderly man and the page boy lived in an old house, which looked neat and well arranged with a small yard. Excuse me, is this elderly Yun's home? An elderly servant squeaked the door open and looked expressionless. Here for the teacher. Write some words first. The couple. Qiao Xian smiled, and gave Xiao Yunduan a push. Darling, let's do it. Xiao Yunduan was here to keep Qiao Xian company for fun, but when he heard the servant's tone, he could not help but feel unconvinced. He nodded and said to the servant politely, "It is cold outside, can you let my wife inside so she can get warm?" The servant looked at Xiao Yunduan, eased his expression and nodded. Okay. Thanks. Qiao Xian smiled and went into the room. The servant took Xiao Yunduan to study close by. It was very quiet in the house. The elderly man must be away. The inside and outside of this house were clean and tidy. Although it was an old house, it had obviously been repaired. It looked quite simple and rustic, but it gave people a very comfortable feeling. That servant was in his 40s, dressed in a dark outfit. He did not particularly show anything, but Qiao Xian felt that he was not just an ordinary servant. Maybe this elderly man was capable of something. That would be great. Qiao Xian started to make imaginative stories in her head and looked up, seeing Xiao Yunduan walking towards her. Chapter 453. Another visit. Qiao Xian got taken aback. She stood up and smiled. How did it go? Xiao Yunduan pinched her wrist, whispering. We will talk outside. Qiao Xian nodded. The couple waved goodbye to the servant and left. Getting on the wagon, Qiao Xian said to Xiao Yunduan, Darling. Xiao Yunduan sighed slightly, replying in a little distressed tone. I did not meet the elderly man, but this uncle is excellent too. After a rough look, he said that my handwriting was too small, my strokes were erratic, and my mind was not stable enough. In fact, I also felt a little bit like this, but it was not as thorough as he said. The servant's comments were sharp and straightforward. A person without self-knowledge would not be able to accept that, and might even mock him for not knowing and pretending to understand everything. But Xiao Yunduan was different. He was a cultivated talent, and he flushed after hearing the comments. But he knew clearly that this well-behaved servant was telling the truth. Qiao Xian was shocked to hear his words. She blinked and sighed. So the elderly man you did not meet should be even more capable. I think so. Xiao Yunduan looked earnest, as he smiled. The uncle asked me to visit him again tomorrow morning, and I should meet him at that time. Qiao Xian's eyes sparkled. Darling, you should definitely work hard. If that elderly man is capable, he can help you. He will definitely be much better than the low-class college teachers. Qiao Xian found the whole thing becoming more real and less vague. Xiao Yunduan was motivated too. He nodded and said, I will be there tomorrow morning. The couple went home and Xiao Yunduan walked into the study. He was thinking about a few articles, which might be of some help the next day. Qiao Xian suddenly thought that Xiao Yunduan should not visit the elderly man empty-handed. But what should he take with them? That elderly man was a very strange person, so she needed to think about this carefully. The gifts should not be too precious, not fitting his style. Food should be the best, produced by a farming family. Qiao Xian asked her mother-in-law for help. They held a discussion and finally decided upon 2 pieces of smoked meat, a portion of smoked sausage, a package of dried radish, a package of dried plums, a few fresh winter bamboo shoots, a few salted duck eggs, and some preserved eggs. There weren't too many things, but they were produced by the family, well prepared and full of good intentions. Qiao Xian told Xiao Yunduan about it and he smiled. Thank you for your help. Qiao Xian flushed and smiled shyly. Mom helped too. Yes. Xiao Yunduan chuckled. Thanks for the help, Mom. They ate breakfast and left, with Xiao Sanlang driving the wagon. Qiao Xian was very nervous, but the others did not know that Xiao Yunduan was visiting someone special. Soon after lunch, Xiao Lulang suddenly showed up. Eldest uncle, eldest aunt, something is wrong. Cousin made a mistake and offended Dean Meng of our college. Dean Meng got so angry that he drove him out of the college. He is not going to study at our college anymore. How can my cousin offend Dean Meng? Dean Meng is the teacher and he should be respected. Cousin is just too stupid. What should be done now? Chapter 454. What? Xiao Lulang kept making complaints, pretending as if he was distressed on behalf of his cousin. But he looked really excited and could not help but smile. That speech startled everyone in the first section of the family. What? What is it? That is not possible. How can my 5th brother offend the dean? Yeah, you must have heard it wrong. Talk about it in detail. How did Yunduan offend Dean Meng? Xiao Lulang cleared his throat. I went to the college yesterday and heard about this. But I am so concerned about him, so I hurried back. Where is cousin? Is he not at home? Is he too ashamed to come out? But it is his fault. The incident just happened. And he can't escape from it. We have to solve the problem, right? Yeah. Eldest uncle nodded. Just tell me what happened. Yunduan is not at home, it is so annoying. Hearing Xiao Yunduan was not at home, Xiao Lulang was surprised, but he became cheerful again. Good that he was not at home, in case he was interrupted. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Qiao Xian walked in at that moment. Hearing Xiao Lulang's arrival, Xiao Xiaoqi rushed towards Qiao Xian. He did not trust his cousin, but he trusted his fifth sister-in-law. Hearing what Xiao Lulang said, Qiao Xian looked at him angrily. Xiao Lulang glanced at Qiao Xian indifferently. Fifth sister-in-law, don't mess around. This is a huge deal. Since it is a huge deal, I am telling the story. You are just trying to mess around. I know this better than you. My husband and I went into town and he told me everything. Oh, most importantly, the actual version differs from yours. My husband was not wrong. Xiao Lulang sneered. But he was driven out of the college by Dean Meng, is that right? Qiao Xian sneered. That is because of the money. Someone set him up. That is just a claim made by him. You are the one making a false claim, and you wish that my husband is not doing well. Stop it. Ms. Qiao turned impatient. Shut up, Xiao Lulang. Ms. Qiao, you talk. Young Xiaoni added. Yeah, fifth sister-in-law, tell us the truth. Everyone supported Qiao Xian and ignored him. Angrily, he turned to the eldest uncle. But eldest uncle did not meet his eyes. Xiao Lulang sneered inwardly. Okay, let's hear her version. Qiao Xian narrated the whole thing step by step. She did not reveal the conjecture that Zhao Guanghua must have teamed up with others, otherwise Xiao Yunduan's reputation might be ruined. So, she pushed all the blame to Zhao Guanghua. Zhao Guanghua and his followers set up Xiao Yunduan, and that irritated Dean Meng, who ordered 50 hits on all of them. Xiao Yunduan was totally innocent. But he was so good that people got jealous of him, and made him run into this trap. Chapter 455. Nonsense. Dean Meng was too angry to say anything, and he was used to being respected all the time. He had to vent his anger when his favorite orchids were broken. He just could not hold the anger to make himself feel worse. That was why Xiao Yunduan did not want to continue facing the wrath and chose to go home. He could still study at home. Ms. Fang and the other members of the family became irritated. They could not blame Dean Meng, but they were all thinking the same thing inside their hearts. They were quite disappointed as well. Wasn't Dean Meng supposed to be a knowledgeable scholar? How could he behave so unfairly? Xiao Lulang did not believe what Qiao Xian said. If it had not been cousin's fault, why didn't he defend himself? Didn't he feel unhappy? Dean Meng is not a confused man. Qiao Xian was surprised. Dean Meng is never confused. He loves the orchids and he was very angry. Also, didn't I just say that my husband did not defend himself because he did not want to make Dean Meng feel even worse? Otherwise, those 3 students would have insisted on the conviction and made excuses. Would you take responsibility if Dean Meng got annoyed? Those students already admitted that they broke the orchids, and they set up my husband because they were jealous of him. My husband had an alibi, clear and straightforward. Everyone from the college knows about this, but only you have no idea what is going on. Cousin, you have been reading for years, but you still don't know that you should look into the case first before spreading the story. Xiao Lulang. Ms. Fang got annoyed and snapped at Xiao Lulang. You ruthless man. How dare you come to us and talk about this? But for Miss Qiao, we would all have been scanned by you. I am warning you, you should not think about spreading the rumor in the village. Otherwise I will give you a hard time during the new year. You better pass on the warning to your mother too. Xiao Lulang shivered out of anger, but he looked very guilty. Xiao Daolong, who had always had a good temper, was not pleased either. Cousin, it is your fault. You should have looked into the matter first before telling us about it. You just frightened us. Eldest uncle sighed annoyedly too. Lulang, you, don't do this anymore. Daolong is right, you should talk about something only after you look into the matter. Qiao Xian chuckled. I have noticed that you have been at home after the college examination, and you have not been to the college for a long time. You must have lost the method of looking into the news. It is soon going to be the new year. Are you going to college or not after that? What about going there after the spring plow next year? You need to do some labor for your home since you are not promising enough to have a future in studies, right? You can't just not do anything, right? Xiao Lulang got both annoyed and embarrassed. What do you mean? He was too guilty to go to the college again after he failed the college examination. He had been hiding at home, claiming that he was exhausted. So, he needed to stay at home and rest. Qiao Xian did not like to reveal people's drawbacks. But she wished to reveal Xiao Lulang's shortcomings at this moment. She was very willing to do so. Cousin, you are a scholar. How can you fail to notice my meaning? I am being kind-hearted. Chapter 456, Shut Their Mouths. Miss Fang sneered. True, don't ignore our kindness. Be careful not to become someone who can neither read nor plant crops. Qiao Xian laughed. You are right, Mom. Miss Fang looked proud. Yeah, not sure if he understands it though. He, of course, got it. Xiao Lulang became really annoyed and said, I was just passing on the news out of kindness, but you are all laughing at me. You are not good people either. Then, he left in anger. Miss Fang shouted in a loud voice. Be sure to tell your parents to keep their mouths shut. Xiao Lulang almost tripped himself over. Eldest uncle could not help but look at Qiao Xian. Lulang is already suffering a lot for not passing the examination, why push him? Miss Fang was displeased. How can you say that? Miss Qiao is defending her husband. Did you hear what Lulang said? He had made up stories about your son. Dad. Qiao Xian smiled. Mom is right. I was just very displeased. Also, maybe my cousin will become really hardworking after this stimulation, and pass the examination the next time. Miss Fang nodded. Yeah, what a good method. Miss Qiao, you are so smart. Qiao Xian smiled. Thanks, Mom. Eldest uncle, anyway. Eldest uncle felt that he would get really annoyed if he continued speaking to the two of them. Miss Qiao was so thick-skinned. Any other daughter-in-law would get embarrassed when scolded by her father-in-law. But she seemed unrepentant. Moreover, she was still laughing cheekily. Then, what will Yunduan do, if he cannot go to college? Everyone was startled, and turned to look at Qiao Xian. Qiao Xian, she was confused. Why was everyone staring at her? She had no idea. My husband should have an idea of his own. Let's wait until he comes home, okay, Miss Fang sighed. Let's wait until he comes home. As the group was dismissed, Qiao Xian smiled at Miss Fang. Husband did not tell us about it because he did not want to worry us. But I noticed his displeasure after spending one day with him. He told me not to reveal this to you. He knows what to do. Mom, he has never made you worried and disappointed. He must have an idea of his own. Don't worry. Miss Fang felt much better after hearing that. She nodded and smiled. Yeah, Yunduan has been very understanding since childhood. He even knew how to comfort me when he was young. He should have an idea of his own. It was not until evening when Xiao Sanlang and Xiao Yunduan arrived home in the cold. They had coal basins at home and the thick door drapery drove the chill away. Young Xiaoni served them hot tea. Miss Fang, eldest uncle, Daolong and Qi, as well as Tao Tao were all gathered in the room, hearing their return. Xiao Sanlang was drinking tea when he glanced about, asking curiously, "What is going on with you all?" Miss Fang rolled her eyes and said, "Just drink your tea." Yunduan, feel better after the tea. Xiao Yunduan nodded and looked very excited. Master Yun is very knowledgeable. No wonder he has put forward so many conditions boldly. I listened to his speech and I feel that I have read 10 more years of books. Master Yun asked me to visit him every third day, and he would give me homework and instruct me to do some article interpretation. I feel more confident about the examination already. Xiao Yunduan could not hold his excitement anymore. He was totally amazed by his experience during the day. Chapter 458, Capable Elder Man. If he had been 70% certain that he could make it to Recommended Man, now he was 90% sure that he would make it. After studying with Master Yun for half a year, he was even 70% sure to make it to the final shortlist. If he continued, he would definitely make it to Advanced Scholar too. He was feeling different now. Thanks. But for you, we would not have visited him the other day. Xiao Yunduan was feeling very emotional and grateful. Had it not been for Qiao Xian's curiosity, they would not have insisted on going there, since everything sounded so ridiculous at that time. No one would have assumed that it was for real. But it was for real. Moreover, that elderly man was very capable. Qiao Xian smiled brightly as she turned to look at him with sparkling eyes. I was curious and led you there, but it is you who are capable enough that Master Yun took you in. We are now heading towards the bright end of a tunnel, and we are going to make Zhao Guanghua and his followers so annoyed. In fact, Qiao Xian behaved that day not entirely because she was simply curious. She just felt that some real talents tended to have weird tempers and acted differently from ordinary people. She felt that a visit would not hurt. Thankfully that visit turned out to be worth the while. Xiao Yunduan smiled. Still, I need to thank you. No wonder, Mom calls you a lucky star. Qiao Xian smiled too, but she was feeling quite shy. Xiao Yunduan added. Master Yun says that he is willing to teach me, but he can't take me in as a disciple now. That meant that he did not think Xiao Yunduan was qualified enough to become his disciple. His words made Qiao Xian feel motivated. She countered and said, but you are so good that Master Yun is still so particular about you. Just work hard, darling. He will accept you someday. Xiao Yunduan smiled and nodded. Okay. That was what he was thinking too. Qiao Xian asked Xiao Yunduan if Master Yun liked the presents. Xiao Yunduan smiled. He loved them, especially salted duck eggs, dried radishes, smoked meat and sausages. Actually, he liked all of them. At noon, the servants steamed salted duck eggs and fried smoked meat with dried radish and garlic sprouts. Qiao Xian was happy. Next time, you can bring some delicious food with you, a few things each time, okay? Xiao Yunduan nodded with a smile. Those were not precious, but filled with his sincerity. Qiao Xian was very glad, so she wanted to celebrate a little and cooked a few dishes. A dish of fried winter bamboo shoots with smoked meat, and a dish of steamed mandarin fish with smoked meat. She cut moderately thick bamboo shoots and stir-fried them with smoked meat. The winter bamboo shoots absorbed the excess oil from the bacon. The fresh fragrance of the bamboo shoots and the salty fragrance of the smoked meat complemented each other perfectly. She put them on a plate and garnished them with some green chives. The fragrance was tangy, the oil was shiny and attractive, and it looked wonderful. Qiao Xian's food was always so interesting, even though they were just the same dishes all over. Sliced smoked meat was neatly arranged in a circle around mandarin fish crossed with a knife. After steaming, the snow-white fish meat and the bright red and translucent smoked meat slices were mixed in half and half to contrast with each other. The steaming heat carried the fragrance into the air, making people salivate. Qiao Xian suggested that she was going to make claypot rice for lunch the next day. They had a few stoves and claypots at home. She had them made when they were processing smoked meat. They should definitely eat claypot rice with smoked meat. Chapter 459. Reliable Xiao Yunduan did not tell the family about Master Yun. For one thing, they would not understand the importance of Master Yun, and for another, Master Yun did not allow him to reveal the secret. Master Yun liked him and had decided to take him as the only disciple. So, he asked his servant Sang to rip all the posters in the town. For that, he was laughed at by people, who believed that he must have learned of his mistake and stopped the fantasy. But he did not bother to make any explanation. He usually traveled around with a few servants and settled down whenever he felt like it. When he felt bored, he would take in some disciples and pass on his knowledge. He did everything on his own will. He did not care if he missed some potential talents. Real talents would never understand what they themselves needed and had missed taking from him. Also, he believed that Xiao Yunduan was the most important disciple, whom he should not reveal randomly. Anyway, he just needed to understand what he wanted himself, and that was all. Xiao Yunduan had a donkey cart, so it was very convenient for him to travel there every third day and spend one whole day from morning to the evening with Master Yun. He would always bring some vegetables from home, and smoked sausages for Master Yun and the servants to eat. Everyone liked the stuff from his house. He was thinking about holding some ceremony, but Master Yun waved that off. Hence, he dropped the idea as well. Miss Fang was worried that Xiao Lulang would spread the rumor about her son's dismissal from the college, so she kept an eye on the family to see what they could possibly do. But it seemed that there was no rumor that came out of their mouths, so she dropped the surveillance eventually. Xiao Lulang would not dare to spread any rumor. His inner secret was revealed by Qiao Xian, and with one more word out of his mouth, the first section of the family would talk much worse about him. Ms. Ma was worried too. She was quite scared of Miss Fang, and she was getting more and more worried, for some reason. They thought that it would be the end of the whole thing, when third uncle and second uncle came to speak with eldest uncle, telling him that since Xiao Yunduan was driven out of the college, he could just drop the idea of attending the examination. They did not think that Xiao Yunduan would make it, when he had no teacher to give him instructions. What is the point of spending money on him? Yunduan could just come and help to do some farming at home for you. Yeah. Our son is very smart, and we are going to support Lulang to continue with his studies. If he makes it in the end, we can all benefit from him. Hearing those stupid words, Miss Fang drove them out and shut the door. Honestly, you old man. That college accused Duan for what he did not do. It is just a shitty place. Duan doesn't have to go there to learn knowledge. Duan is a friend of young Master Xia, and he is more reliable and can help him better than anyone at the college. Duan says that he knows what to do, so we need to trust him. Don't mess around with your brothers. Those stupid people only talk nonsense. One more word from them, and I will drive them out with a club. Eldest uncle was quite displeased too. He replied weakly. All right then, just drop it. I am not saying that Yunduan should not attend the examination. He has studied for so many years and he has made it to cultivated talent, of course he should continue. Miss Fang snorted. Good that you are reliable for once. Eldest uncle, had he not been reliable before? Hearing what happened, Xiao Yunduan laughed and said nothing more. Xiao Lulang, on the other hand, got quite stimulated by what Qiao Xian said, and decided to attend the school after all. He did not need to be ashamed of anything. He wasn't the only one who failed the test. The holiday did not start until one day before the preliminary New Year. So, Zhao Guanghua kept asking Xiao Lulang about how Xiao Yunduan was doing these days. Chapter 460. Professional storymaker Qiao Wei was very pleased to see Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan having a hard time. So, Zhao Guanghua was going to get some news out of the guy in front of him to make her happy. Xiao Lulang would never say anything good about Xiao Yunduan. He kept complaining about Xiao Yunduan, and described how distressed he was after he was expelled. Zhao Guanghua was very glad to hear the news. Soon, he narrated the whole story to Qiao Wei. Qiao Wei was glad to hear this. She was now sure that Xiao Yunduan was never going to become a successful man in the future, and Qiao Xian would live the rest of her life as a rough, ordinary countryside bitch. But Qiao Wei and Zhao Guanghua soon would know that what they wished would not turn out to be true. Xiao Lulang was so glad to see Zhao Guanghua inviting him intimately. He believed that he was now considered a good friend of Zhao Guanghua. He thought of Zhao Ming, whom he fell for, and kept sucking up to Zhao Guanghua, implicitly saying that he wanted to visit the Zhao family. He really wished to go there, and most importantly, he wished to meet Zhao Ming again. He and Lady Zhao must be destined to see each other. Lady Zhao beamed at him last time, and they might get a chance to have a chat today. Lady Zhao was definitely going to be moved by him, and then, he was going to ask his mother to hire a matchmaker who could help them establish the marital relationship. The more he thought about this, the more happy he became. But he did not have a good residence. He wished that he could have an equally good house like that of the first section of the family. Xiao Lulang started to feel jealous again. But Zhao Guanghua did not care about Xiao Lulang at all. Even though he was not a smart guy, he could sense that Xiao Lulang wished to visit his home. However, Zhao Guanghua ignored his suggestion. He was not going to let anyone in his house. Zhao Guanghua did not even turn him down with excuses. He just snapped at him, saying that it was not a good time, stopping Xiao Lulang from saying anything more. Xiao Lulang felt very disappointed, but soon, he got increasingly motivated. He believed that good things never came easy, and that it must be the barriers he needed to overcome for his relationship with Lady Zhao. As long as they loved each other and never gave up, they would definitely get married in the end. Xiao Lulang was definitely good at making up stories. In the middle of the last month before New Year, the Yuezheng family asked Chu Shan to pass on some gifts to the first section of the family. First, Madame prepared things which included 150 kilograms of silver frost charcoal, 2 hand heaters, 2 copper soup pots, several pieces of deerskin and sheepskin for boots, several pieces of fox, mink, squirrel, and rabbit fur for clothes, and thick 4 pieces of snow cloaks and cloaks for men and women. Her gift also included 15 kilograms of fine pearl rice, 15 kilograms of glutinous rice, pastries and candies, dried seafood, a whole slaughtered sheep, 2 roasted suckling pigs, fine wine, and a box containing fashionable silk flowers from the province, for sets of skin care creams and powders, several toys and so on. There were not any precious items such as gold, silver, gemstones and jade, but these were all practical things. Especially silver frost charcoal, hand heaters as well as the cloaks. They were exactly what they needed. Everyone in the family had a share. For example, the cosmetics were for the girls. Xie Jingrong also had presents prepared for them. Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan were very surprised by what they received. First, Madame was just too generous at this point. Ms. Fang was startled by the presents. But Qiao Xian explained and said that they helped the Yuezheng family last time when they were in the province, thus this was the reciprocity that they received. The two families would hang out like friends in the future. Only then did Miss Fang feel assured. Chapter 461, Pride. Yunduan is excellent. This is what a learned man should be like. Since you are all good friends, we should prepare some presents for them too. Qiao Xian nodded and smiled. You are right, Mom. They had a lot of space in the new house. They had a place to park the wagon and hold the horse. So, Chu Shan and the coachman spent the night at their house and left the following day. Qiao Xian and Miss Fang shared the presents with Miss Su, Yang Xiaoni and Tao Tao, and they were all smiling and thanking Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian when they heard how they got the presents. Miss Su was again feeling lucky not to have split hairs with fifth sister-in-law when she was first married. Otherwise she would never have enjoyed any of this. Fresh mutton was the most delicious. For dinner, Qiao Xian made pan-fried lamb chops, roasted lamb spine in sauce, and stewed mutton soup with yam. The roast suckling pig was cut into half and served on the table. The skin was ruddy, crispy, and the meat was tender, fat but not greasy. Every bite was a pleasure. They all spoke highly of the main dish, which Qiao Xian liked too. It was a big dish that was not easy to prepare, and it was not sold at ordinary restaurants. Only when regular customers in famous restaurants placed a deposit in advance and made a reservation would they cook it. It was a rare chance that this dish could be made. But roast suckling pig might not be easy to get. They could use pork belly to make roast pork, same crispy in skin and tender in meat. The following morning, Qiao Xian had the presents prepared and asked Chu Shan to take them back with him. The gifts included homemade smoked meat, sausage and smoked fish, fresh shiitake mushrooms, fungus, and white fungus picked from the fungus shed, as well as dried chestnuts and honey from the mountains. There were some dried vegetables such as winter bamboo shoots, dried radishes, and dried beans packed as well. All of them were home-produced. Chu Shan accepted the presents with a smile. They left early in the morning with warm steamed buns stuffed with mutton and green onions. The first section of the family was so friendly. They had steamed buns the night before, and heated them up early in the morning for them to eat on the road. They also boiled a few eggs, candies, sunflower seeds and other snacks for them to use on the road. Each of them were given red envelopes of 2 liang each. So, they were never afraid of traveling this far. In fact, they looked forward to the trip here. They always had good things to eat. The steamed buns with filling and the lamb spine and ribs were all delicious. Seeing wagons leaving and coming to the first section of the family, the villagers were all used to the scene. They could not take a look inside the wagons due to the big house the first section of the family were living in at the moment. Second uncle and third uncle did not dare to come to the door, since they offended Miss Fang a while ago. So, they could only make some complaints at home. Widow's son was even more jealous than them. Whenever she saw how the first section of the family got better than before, she felt more jealous. If she had made her daughter marry Xiao Yunduan, she would have a lot to show off now. But now she could only watch as a spectator at this moment. Widow's son could not stand it anymore. She met her lover on the sly, urging him to deal with the first section of the family. I hate Miss Fang. She is so proud now. I am so annoyed. I really need to get it over with. Widow's son's lover was very annoyed by her pestering. He nodded and said, Okay, I will think of some way to deal with them. Don't worry about it. Remember what you said, or I will not give you a good time. Okay, I got it now, I do. Chapter 462, Happiness. Widow's son stopped her complaining, and waited to see the show. However, 2 days later, Xiao Xiaoqi set the trap in the mountains and caught a wild boar weighing almost 200 kilograms, shocking the whole village. Widow's son got so sour. What kind of luck was that? The first section of the family was so glad. They hired someone from the village to get the wild boar back, and shared several kilos with the helpers. They made a sumptuous lunch for them to enjoy where they could eat as much meat as they could. They could even pack and take the leftover home. Everyone was so happy about it. The second and third section of the family were given only 5 kilograms each respectively. Ms. Nyo had thought that they would be given at least 50 kilograms, so they were shocked when seeing what they received. Ms. Fang did not care about their displeasure. She smiled. We need to make smoked meat, and soon we will be taking gifts back to our natal families, especially the Qiao family. A decent amount has been given to you. When we get rich, you will get more. Those who were given meat from the first section of the family all nodded at this, saying that it was right. You are living separately, and that is all you should get. True. Xiao Erlang and Xiao Sailang helped too, and they both got 4 kilograms respectively. Now you have 5 kilograms more. That is already a lot to be given to a cousin. I would have been so glad if my cousins did this for me. Some smart ones, when seeing the first section of the family living a better life, defended the first section of the family, hoping that one day they could get some help from them. All they needed to do was to defend them verbally. Widow's son and some others wanted to turn the family against each other, but they did not dare to. By the end, everyone was defending the first section of the family. Eldest uncle did not dare to counter his wife in public, so he had to pretend as if he did not catch the helping look his brothers threw to him. His brothers got so annoyed. Things were different now. A short while later second uncle sneered. Eldest sister-in-law, you are looking down at us. Let's just wait and see. You should never come and beg us for help when you need it. Ms. Fang laughed. We won't. If we need help, we will try to come up with solutions ourselves. After all, we all have a life to live, and we can't just turn to others for help all the time. We are all people who can work and live well. Everyone nodded in agreement. Second uncle got even more annoyed after hearing this. He left the place with a sunken face. Ms. Fang felt so happy to have vented her anger in this way. When the crowd was gone, Ms. Fang, together with her daughters-in-law and sons, started to salt the wild boar meat and clean the yard. Soon, she proposed. What about preparing the things to be taken to your mother's families? We have enough time. Miss Su nodded in agreement. Miss Fang said, how about Miss Su and I go home tomorrow and Miss Qiao the day after? What about you, Ms. Yang? Young Xiaoni said indifferently, Mom, we will go and pay tribute to my deceased parents at their tombs after Minor New Year. Miss Fang did not object. Okay, whichever you like. Qiao Xian agreed to go to the Qiao family the day after tomorrow. But she was not going to bring wild boar meat or any other precious things. She smiled at Miss Fang. Mom, don't save me a portion of wild boar meat. We only need 2 chickens, 1 basket of eggs and a few pastries bought from the street. Chapter 463, Unexpected Guest. She did not want the Qiao family to know what she had at her home. Chickens and eggs were okay, because villagers always had some chickens at home. Miss Fang had already learned how Qiao Xian's life was at her own home, so she somehow disliked her parents. Hence, she nodded at Qiao Xian's suggestion. She smiled. Sure, then I will give you 20 liang like I did last time, and you can do whatever you want. Qiao Xian thanked her and said, I will give the remaining amount back to you, Mom. Miss Fang laughed. Just add it to your own savings. Yunduan needs money, and the expenses can be counted from the shared savings. After all, when Yunduan becomes successful in the future, he will take care of his brothers. They can take care of him now. Qiao Xian did not counter that, but nodded in agreement, smiling. Her mother-in-law was such a nice lady. So Miss Fang and Miss Su prepared their stuff. They had smoked meat, sausages, fish and ducks with them, as well as 10 kilograms of wild boar for each family as 2 jars of wine. Qiao Xian and Tao Tao also picked 2 baskets of fresh mushrooms for them to take along. The Yuejing family had given a few melon seeds, peanuts, pine nuts, preserved fruit, peanut candy, walnut candy, osmanthus cakes, some of which were also put in their luggage. If either of them needed to add something, they could buy the things with their own money. Miss Su picked 3 garments, a few folk flowers and 2 bags of needles and threads. Apart from this, she was going to offer 4 liang to her mother. On the day when they left, Miss Su dressed up her children whilst she herself had a silver hairpin on top of her hair as well. She was dressed in new clothes and left together with Miss Fang, eldest uncle and Tao Tao. They had a donkey cart and did not need to walk anymore. Xiao Sanlang was driving the cart. He dropped Miss Su and Xiao Daolong, and then Miss Fang. Miss Su's home was located in a village which wasn't big enough for the donkey cart to get in. They still needed to walk a few miles, but that already was much more convenient than before. Xiao Sanlang spent one night with Miss Fang at his grandparents' place, and returned home the next day. Then he picked up Miss Su and her family so they could head home together. When they were gone, the house seemed so quiet. Especially since the 2 children were not at home, making some noise. They had nothing else to do but think about what to eat. Young Xiaoni and Qiao Xian were talking about how to make the claypot rice, which Qiao Xian had decided to make for dinner. Xiao Xiaoqi offered to help too. Young Xiaoni was proficient in making the preparations. She washed the pot, and she prepared the fire and stove. Qiao Xian picked some cabbage and garlic sprouts from the garden. When the claypot rice was almost cooked, she spread the sliced sausage and smoked duck on top, poured over the prepared sauce, added the blanched lettuce, and sprinkled the chopped garlic leaves when it was almost ready. A delicious and wonderful portion of claypot rice would be served. Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni chatted happily in the open, bright kitchen. When the claypot rice was just on the stove and the side dishes were about to be put in, a very loud female voice arose at the door. "Where is everyone?" Xiao Xiaoqi shouted loudly. "Cousin, 3rd sister-in-law and 5th sister-in-law are cooking in the kitchen." Qi wasn't that glad when he made the announcement. "Cousin." Young Xiaoni and Qiao Xian exchanged a look. Qiao Xian thought for a while and said, "Xiao Meiji, I believe. The daughter of 3rd uncle. She might have gone to her parents' house to deliver presents." Young Xiaoni pursed her lips. "She isn't very nice. She was not here at our wedding. Did she come over when you got married?" Chapter 464. No idea. Qiao Xian shook her head. "Don't think so. Never heard of her before." Young Xiaoni tooted. "Wonder what she is doing here." Qiao Xian chuckled. "No idea, let's go and check it out." "Okay." The 2 walked out of the kitchen and saw Xiao Meiji and Xiao Xiaoji standing in the main hall. Xiao Xiaoji had been here before, but Xiao Meiji looked so greedy as she looked around. She sized both Yang Xiaoni and Qiao Xian up from head to feet, rolling her eyes and sat down on the chair. "So you are Miss Qiao and Miss Yang. Serve me some tea and melon seeds. I am your relative, so I don't care about your foolishness. Shame on you that you don't know how to serve people." Xiao Xiaoji sneered too. Qiao Xian looked confused and blinked. "3rd sister-in-law, who is this woman coming to our home to show off? What is wrong with her?" Young Xiaoni laughed. "I don't know who it is. But she seems to think that this is her home. Tut, tut, how shameless." Xiao Xiaoji threw them a weird look. "This is my elder sister." Xiao Meiji shouted loudly. What are you talking about? Before Xiao Meiji got married, the first section of the family had no standing in front of the second and third section of the family. Ms. Niu and Ms. Ma kept bad-mouthing the first section of the family. Xiao Meiji had heard a lot of stories, and watched a lot of shows, so she never thought that the first section of the family was worth much. In her eyes, she believed that her family was better than the first section of the family, who were just their laborers. She was living at Jiangzhe village, very far from Shaoding village. The distance would require a whole day trip. But that was not very far, after all. Xiao Meiji said that it was too far for her to go home, so she only came over before or after Chinese New Year every year, not otherwise. She did not want to give red packets to Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni when they got married, so she ignored the invitations. But when she came home this time, she heard about Ms. Ma and Xiao Ziota's cribbing about the first section of the family. Xiao Meiji got so annoyed that she wanted to teach them a lesson. Since this day, eldest uncle, Miss Fang, and even Xiao Daolong, Miss Su and Xiao Sanlang were all gone, Xiao Meiji decided to teach the others a lesson. Xiao Xiaoji led her here. But she did not believe that the first section of the family would have built a really big house. Villagers always saved some money for a new house, and that was not a rare thing. Yes, they had a new house, so what? But when they came to the yard of the first section of the family, Xiao Meiji felt jealousy burning inside her heart. How ridiculous! Then she turned furious. Where did the first section of the family get this much money? They built a new house but never helped their family. How dare eldest uncle keep saying that he would take care of the second and third section of the family all the time? They were all liars. Xiao Meiji finally understood why her mother and sister were so angry. She pushed the door open and walked into the yard. Xiao Meiji felt more than sour. She was shocked. As she walked into the main hall and saw the fresh furniture as well as beautiful, crystal-clear glazed windows, Xiao Meiji wished that she had them all for herself. Note, she is just a small role, only in the story for a few chapters. Chapter 465. My sister Xiao Meiji made up her mind that she was going to teach these two newly wedded daughters-in-law an unforgettable lesson. She was going to tell her eldest uncle about what she wanted. She was going to force the eldest uncle to give her everything she wanted. That was what she used to do earlier. However, Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni did not care about her at all. They sneered at the woman in front of them. Xiao Meiji got so annoyed. Hearing what Xiao Meiji asked, Qiao Xian smiled. We don't know you. Yang Xiaoni said, Who are you? Why are you making a fuss at our home? How ridiculous! How dare you! Xiao Xiaoji shouted. She is my sister, my elder sister. Yang Xiaoni said, We don't know your sister, nor is she a part of our family. Xiao Meiji was almost speechless. How dare you treat me like this? I am going to tell eldest uncle about it when he comes back. He will teach all of you a lesson. Qiao Xian said coldly, Be my guest, we will wait and see. You are the crazy one that comes to our home and makes a scene. Shame on you for reporting us. Are you more noble than anyone else? Yang Xiaoni sized her up roughly. So, you are Xiao Meiji. Instead of calling me third sister-in-law out of politeness, you are trying to teach me. You don't have any rules. Qiao Xian raised her eyebrows and snorted with her chin up. My father is an officer in the county, you want me to bow to you? Xiao Meizi's face twisted. You are bullying me. Yang Xiaoni suddenly let out a scream, startling Xiao Meiji and Xiao Xiaoji. She held Qiao Xian's wrist. Fifth sister-in-law, please, go to the kitchen and check our claypot rice. We must not let it get ruined. Qiao Xian laughed out loud. Her third sister-in-law was really a devoted foodie. Honestly. And here. I can deal with it here. Young Xiaoni pursed her lips. We are making food, they can't stop us. Okay, then I will deal with the rice. Qiao Xian was totally amused by young Xiaoni, and returned to the kitchen. She must not ruin the delicious claypot rice for such people. It would be such a shame. Xiao Meiji got extremely irritated. How dare they ignore her like this? Just wait. Xiao Meiji stood up angrily. I will tell eldest uncle about this. How can his daughters-in-law be so cruel? Young Xiaoni stood up too. She had her hands over her waist. So what? You are the one who bullied us here. You are married and are not part of our family. Xiao Meiji was shivering. She was so angry. She had never believed that anyone from the first section of the family would ever counter her. In her opinion, these newly wedded daughters-in-law should be too timid to counter her. Look at Miss Su, for example. She never dared to say any words to counter her. But she felt so stricken when she was blocked by Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni. Xiao Meiji glared at Yang Xiaoni. We are leaving now. You too, just wait and see. Yang Xiaoni smiled. All right then. Xiao Meiji staggered and almost tripped herself. The two sisters had just walked out to the yard, when they smelled something that made them drool. Chapter 466, Good smell. The two sisters could not help but pause in their footsteps. They took in the smell, and sensed the special combination of smoked meat and the delicious rice. It made them drool even more. Xiao Xiaoji asked Xiao Xiaoqi. Brother Qi, what are you cooking? Xiao Meiji did not say a word, but she also pricked up her ears for the reply. Xiao Xiaoqi said lazily, smoked meat. Every household made smoked meat, so did the second and third section of the family, though they did not make this much like the first section of the family. Xiao Xiaoji pursed her lips. I did not know that it was smoked meat, but how can it smell so different? Xiao Xiaoqi ignored her. Xiao Meiji came to cause them trouble, and Xiao Xiaoqi hated it when Xiao Xiaoji followed suit. The smell seemed to tempt them so much. Xiao Xiaoji could not resist it anymore. She swallowed her saliva. I will go and have a look at it. She rushed to the kitchen. Xiao Meiji was a little hesitant before she finally gave up. She followed them. Xiao Xiaoqi and Yang Xiaoni exchanged a look. Yang Xiaoni summoned him, and told him to join them. When Qiao Xian made a pot, she made 2 sets of several casserole pots of different sizes. Now, on the 3 stoves, 2 small pots were for 1 person, and the other was for 2 people, namely Xiao Yunduan and Qiao Xian. At this moment, the lid was lifted, and Qiao Xian was pouring the seasoning sauce, cracking the eggs, and preparing to add vegetables. It smelled so good. It was a nice scene. Neat slices of dark red sausage, oily and textured smoked duck pieces, fresh and tender lettuce, oily and translucent rice grains, plum sauce, embellished with minced garlic, small pieces of garlic leaves, and yellow and white eggs could be seen. It looked just too delicious. They could not stand it any more. Xiao Xiaoji could not help but lick her lips. I want to eat it too. Xiao Meiji snorted. She wanted to eat more. She and her husband had traveled all the way here and not eaten a thing. This delicious-looking dish almost killed her. She did not utter a sound but believed that if Xiao Xiaoji could be offered a portion, she would be given one too. They were together. Young Xiaoni defended her food, and said, This is our dinner, just enough for us. See, it is smoked meat with egg and rice, that is all. You can make it at home too. Please leave now, we are going to eat our dinner soon. Xiao Xiaoji was very disappointed and annoyed. You are so stingy. Young Xiaoni said, this is my dinner, of course you can't have any. Xiao Meiji snorted. With the eldest uncle and eldest aunt away, you cooked so much food. You are ruining food and wasting money. We don't need lazy and greedy daughters-in-law like you here. Xiao Xiaoqi immediately said, cousin, we always eat this even when parents are here. Young Xiaoni smiled. Qi, your cousin knows nothing, so she misunderstands us. And cousins, we don't care what kind of daughters-in-law are at your home. But now, you are at our home, and it is none of your business how we live. You are welcome to report us to our parents-in-law when they are back. Xiao Meiji. She became crazy after hearing this. Chapter 467, Willingness. Xiao Meiji thought that if she threatened them, Yang Xiaoni and Qiao Xian would stuff her with good food as a bribe. But they, unexpectedly, countered her. When done with work, Qiao Xian looked at Xiao Meiji. Cousin, the second and third sections of the family kept forcing us to work for you guys. Do you think that we are the same as before? That is history now. Such behavior will never happen again. It already stopped half a year ago. Second and third uncles are already used to this change, and I believe that you should get used to this too. Stop acting as if you are the host of this house. No one buys that anymore. That is not what happens in any house in the village. If you are not convinced, just try it out. Young Xiaoni snorted. Fifth sister-in-law is right. As the claypot rice was almost ready, she just could not wait and said impatiently, just leave now, we can talk about this tomorrow, we are ready to eat dinner soon. Xiao Meiji was starving but she could not stand what Yang Xiaoni and Qiao Xian said to her. She threw a fierce glare at them, and grabbed Xiao Xiaoji away. Xiao Xiaoqi followed up and shut the door. Xiao Xiaoji licked her lips. Sister, I really want to eat that smoked sausage rice, it smells so good. Xiao Meiji could not help but swallow her saliva. With teeth clenched, she said, we can go home now, and tell eldest uncle tomorrow. She will have to make the food for us. Xiao Xiaoji's eyes sparkled. Yeah, you are so smart, sister, haha. Xiao Meiji was panicking. What Qiao Xian said to her at last was making her feel anxious. She had no way to counter that. It was not a regular practice in the village. But eldest uncle promised to take care of his brothers, and that he would definitely help if his brothers needed him. That was what had been happening all these years. Why did they stop helping them? Her mother said that things changed after the fifth sister-in-law got married. Was she so capable? Xiao Meiji did not believe that. But she thought of her words, and found this woman hard to deal with. Xiaoji, tell me about Miss Qiao. The two sisters did not look that well when they returned home. Xiao Xiaoji kept telling Ms. Ma that she wanted to eat smoked sausage rice. Ms. Ma did not know what that was, so she ignored her and asked Xiao Meiji instead. How did it go? Miss Qiao is really arrogant, isn't she? That is how she is like. We are already used to it. You should never get annoyed by her. Xiao Meiji became even angrier. She isn't the only one. Ms. Yang isn't obedient either, and Qi too. He has turned very unruly. Same goes for my cousin. He even pretended as if I were not around. He did not even show up. In fact, Xiao Yunduan was studying in his yard and had no idea that she had been there. Xiao Xiaoqi had wanted to inform him but was stopped by Qiao Xian. Hearing Xiao Mei's words, Ms. Ma sneered. They are rich now, and you have seen that too. Didn't you see their big house? They are looking down at us, totally. Unconvinced, Xiao Meiji bit her lips. So, the eldest uncle has left us alone. Ms. Ma sneered and sounded furious. No need to mention him. He makes empty promises, but never puts them into practice. Chapter 468. Tomorrow Xiao Meiji could not help but believe this reluctantly. Otherwise eldest uncle would not have built this house alone. She and her family would have a share in it as well. Seeing Ms. Ma ignoring her, Xiao Xiaoji repeated and said, "Mom, make me the smoked sausage rice, I want to eat it." Ms. Ma turned to her daughter. "What claypot rice?" Xiao Xiaoji said, "Some rice with a layer of smoked sausage, meat with egg, vegetables and soy sauce. Cousin was making it and I smelt it. It was so great, but they did not share it with us." Ms. Ma sneered. "Your own fault. They are looking down on you." Xiao Xiaoji pursed her lips. "We will make eldest uncle tell them to make us the same food." Ms. Ma did not respond and said, "Then wait until tomorrow." Smoked sausage and meat with egg. Of course it smells good. They are just ruining the food. Xiao Meiji replied. Eldest uncle is not at home, and Miss Qiao as well as Ms. Yang are wasting food. Eldest aunt will definitely blame them. Please wait until tomorrow and see how they are scolded. Ms. Ma did not think that Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni would be scolded, but she hoped that they would be. So, she added casually. Let's just wait and see. Qiao Xian served the claypot rice on the tray and went with Yang Xiaoni to the dining room, while she fetched Xiao Yunduan to join them for food. Qiao Xian mentioned Xiao Mei's visit while they were all seated. Yang Xiaoni was angry as well. She kept adding to the story. She regretted it. I should not have opened the door for them. Xiao Yunduan smiled. It doesn't matter, they will definitely come here again tomorrow when our parents are here. Yang Xiaoni said, she is definitely the daughter of the third section of the family, just like my own sister-in-law. Qiao Xian laughed. Then please wait until tomorrow. I just can't wait. Food was more important to them. The four of them stopped talking about Xiao Meiji but turned to the delicious food instead. The claypot rice was blended with meat and sauce, giving out a wonderful smell. It was not until after lunch when Miss Fang and Miss Su as well as the others returned. It was again so lively inside the house. Soon after that, Xiao Xiaoji came over. Eldest uncle, my sister and brother-in-law are all here. My parents are asking eldest uncle to have a chat with them. Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni exchanged a look between themselves. So, they wanted to exaggerate the story behind their backs. But they were going to become the laughing stock after all. Eldest uncle was very happy to see that Xiao Meiji thought of him. He smiled happily. Meiji is back with her husband. All right, I will go to your home and have a chat with them. Miss Fang smiled. Only your eldest uncle is invited, not me. Also, they are junior people in the family. How can they ask seniors to come over? So precious they are. Or they can't walk. If they can't walk, then they don't have to come over here anymore in the future. Xiao Xiaoji did not dare to utter a sound. Miss Fang was right in every word. Eldest uncle coughed and turned to her. You must be thinking too much. They are just asking me to visit them. Miss Fang sneered. Oh really? Then do you remember to tell me whether Meiji is missing you or trying to tell some exaggerated stories to you about her past experience? Xiao Xiaota's heart skipped a beat. She felt too ashamed to stay here. Chapter 469. Whole story. She had always been afraid of the eldest aunt, and now she was even more scared of her. Eldest uncle felt a little bit displeased. You just like thinking too much about Miss Fang chuckled. Then, go ahead. Eldest uncle was affected by what Miss Fang said, so he felt quite annoyed, and followed Xiao Xiaoji. Xiao Meiji and her husband were very hospitable towards him, and Xiao Meiji even greeted him happily. But before eldest uncle was able to taste the happiness, Xiao Meiji started to talk about something else. The more the eldest uncle heard about this, the more guilty he felt inside his heart. Miss Fang was totally right. Had it not been for Miss Fang's reminder, what Xiao Meiji said to him might have fooled him. But Miss Fang's words plus what Xiao Meiji said made him realize that Xiao Meiji was trying to make some accusations. Miss Qiao was indeed arrogant, but she never irritated people, unless people irritated her first. And Miss Yang? She was even less likely to do this. She only wanted food. So, when Meiji said that she went to visit them but was humiliated instead, eldest uncle did not really buy that. He did not speak his doubts in front of Xiao Meiji, but said some vague words to console her. Xiao Meiji felt very proud. She assumed that she had achieved what she wanted. Eldest uncle, you have to get me justice. Eldest uncle was taken aback. What? Oh, okay. Ms. Ma added some complaints of her own, saying that Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni were ruining food at home. Eldest uncle became even more speechless. Ms. Qiao was rich and she always ate what she wanted. She even shared the food with the whole family, so what could he blame her for? But he did not dare to reveal anything like this in front of the third section of the family, otherwise he would sound as if he were showing off. Eldest uncle was actually a very modest person who never liked showing off. But soon, Xiao Xiaoji and Xiao Meiji, as well as Xiao Mei's husband Jiang Dai and Ms. Ma followed eldest uncle to his home. Xiao Meiji was waiting to see Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni getting scolded. Unexpectedly, the whole thing turned out quite different. Eldest uncle could not scold his daughter-in-law. Also, he spotted how confident Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni looked, and with Miss Fang's cold eyes, he felt that something was wrong. Sure enough, before he could say a thing, Miss Fang started scolding Xiao Meiji. Meiji, we were not at home yesterday. What were you doing here humiliating my daughters-in-law? What has your mother taught you? Apologize to them now. Xiao Meiji was shocked. She snapped. They are lying. I never did that. Miss Fang sneered. My daughters-in-law never lie. But you have been a liar since childhood. Want me to give you some examples? Also, Qi was here too. Did he lie as well? Xiao Meiji always bullied Tao Tao and Qi and made up stories. Miss Fang had caught her doing so a few times. Xiao Meiji flushed. Ms. Ma said, eldest sister-in-law, Meiji was the guest, and she got angry because Miss Qiao and Ms. Yang did not treat her well. Miss Fang said, oh, so you know you are a guest, an outsider. Then what were you doing at my house? My daughters-in-law did not have to tolerate such behavior. Xiao Mei's husband, Jiang Dai, was dumbfounded. He had no idea what he should do. Xiao Meiji felt so humiliated. She covered her face and sobbed. Eldest aunt, how can you say this? They must have exaggerated the whole thing. You are the one who exaggerates, not them. They always tell the truth. Stop crying here, go to your own house and cry. Chapter 470, Not Making Qiao Xian Smiled. Cousin, I told you yesterday that we live separately. You are the guest, and you should stick to the rules. You want to be our host. How ridiculous. Shame on you all. We should not have spoiled you. Miss Fang said coldly. Xiao Meiji stared at eldest uncle, transfixed. Eldest uncle looked embarrassed but still asked. Miss Qiao, why didn't you serve food to Meiji and Xiaoji yesterday? Qiao Xian was surprised. But shouldn't they eat at the third section of the family instead of here? Also, they were too late, we had prepared the food already. Xiao Xiaoji added. But we are not late today. We want to eat the claypot rice you ate last night. Qiao Xian smiled. You mean claypot rice? I told you how to make it. You can cook it yourselves. We are not a restaurant and don't take orders from others, not even if money is paid. Young Xiaoni laughed. Xiao Xiaoji snapped. Eldest uncle, my sister, is not home often, Qiao Xian interrupted her. That is not my business. Miss Fang said, true. She can keep your parents company if she does not visit home often. You are dreaming if you want my daughter-in-law to cook food for you. Eldest uncle frowned. Miss Qiao, Miss Yang, they are relatives. You can make food for relatives, right? Qiao Xian said, relatives order food. Eldest uncle. You. Miss Fang immediately said, she was too unfriendly yesterday for us to make any food for her. Eldest uncle, Miss Fang continued. Honestly, Ms. Ma, I am telling you now that we will be celebrating the New Year separately. You won't be joining us anymore. Ms. Ma was startled. What? Not understood. Ms. Fang said, we are living separately, and we should celebrate New Year separately as well. Ms. Ma. Eldest uncle was about to say something, when Miss Fang beat him to it. If you don't like this idea, you can spend the New Year with them. But we are not doing this henceforth. Xiao Meiji said angrily, eldest uncle, you promised to take care of us. Miss Fang smiled. Heard that. They are trying to make you take care of them. If you want to do so, we won't stop you. How about you moving to their home for good? Eldest uncle looked distressed. His mind was completely befuddled. What Xiao Meiji said to him stung his heart. Xiao Meiji panicked too. She was about to give some explanation when Miss Fang drove them all out of the house. How could Xiao Meiji make Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni make food for them? She should be served some dishwasher water. Ms. Ma stomped her feet in front of the door angrily. Okay, let's go home. We will never come here again. Jiang Da's eyes rolled as he said voluntarily, Mom, we are one family. Don't ruin this relationship. Eldest uncle's family is so rich, and they should help us, so that we can have a better life. Ms. Ma snorted. Stop dreaming. Don't you know now what they are like? Xiao Meiji felt sour, shamed and angry. It was the first time for her to get humiliated by the first section of the family, so she felt worse than ever. She almost could not stand up when she reached home. Chapter 471, Annoyed, Mom, is their behavior so over the top now? Ms. Ma sank her face. You saw what happened. They have been like this since some time. Honestly, damn. Then we just ignore them. Saying that, Xiao Meiji got dumbfounded again. The first section of the family was so rich now, and wanted to get rid of them. Ms. Ma added. When your brother becomes an officer, they will not be this arrogant. Also, Xiao Yunduan has been driven out of the college, and he is done for. Really? Tell me more about it. Xiao Meiji instantly got interested. The mother and the daughter exchanged some gossip, and Xiao Meiji felt very glad hearing the bad news. Just wait and see what their future would be like. Xiao Xiaoji was displeased and nagged. Mom, I want to eat smoked sausage rice now. Ms. Ma became annoyed. What smoked sausage rice? You always talk about this. She had thought that when her elder daughter was home, she could make some difference. But she was also ruthlessly driven out by Miss Fang. She was quite upset as she thought about this. Xiao Meiji was greedy for that too. Mom, just make the smoked sausage rice tonight. Looking at them too, Ms. Ma was interested, as she asked strangely. How is that rice made? Can it be so delicious? Xiao Xiaoji pursed her lips. I don't know, but it smelled so nice, and I really want it. But third sister-in-law and fifth sister-in-law did not share any with us. Ms. Ma felt a bit concerned for her daughter, who was never treated like this. Only Tao Tao was. Ms. Ma could not stand it when it was her daughter who was bullied. Okay, we will make smoked sausage rice tonight. They had smoked sausage as well. But it was not very easy to make the one they wished to eat. They had no special pot for claypot rice, so they used the pot for rice cooking. When the rice was almost done, they put some sliced smoked sausage, poured some soy sauce, crushed some garlic and added some vegetables. Xiao Xiaoji wanted an egg, which was turned down by Ms. Ma. Smoked sausage with egg. That was such a waste. But Xiao Xiaoji and Xiao Meiji did not think the smell was right, except for the strange smell of the smoked sausage. It seemed totally different. Nonetheless, they still enjoyed the dish. But after that, Ms. Ma said, this is the same as steamed smoked sausage. Xiao Xiaoji and Xiao Meiji were both startled. That seemed right. But they started to get really distressed again. They knew that the first section of the family had made a different, fragrant dish. Xiao Meiji felt so irritated when she missed out what she had almost got her hands on. Her parents were right. Eldest uncle had changed too. Mom, where does eldest uncle's family get this much wealth from? Are they doing some business behind our backs? Xiao Meiji's husband and father-in-law were carpenters. They made furniture for people, so Xiao Meiji had some different ideas. Ms. Ma was startled. They have no business to do here. Xiao Meiji said, the house is so big, and the furniture isn't cheap. The glazed windows are really expensive. It's all Ms. Qiao's dowry. That dumb-headed woman. The first section of the family is going to coax her to spend all of her dowry on them soon. Chapter 472, Ms. Fang's Determination, Dowry. That is too much even for someone's dowry. Xiao Meiji did not believe that. Ms. Qiao is a concubine's daughter. No lineal mother would really care about a concubine's daughter that much. I believe that they must have some way of making money. Look at the businessman's family, the concubine's daughter always has a worse life than maids. Oh well. Xiao Meiji believed that her conjecture was right. Mom, you should watch them carefully. Observe what they do. I am sure they have many ways of making money. Ms. Ma thought for a while and nodded. Okay, I will keep an eye on them. It won't be so troublesome. They were in the same village. They would always run into each other. The next day, Xiao Meiji and her husband left. They had intended to just stay one night before leaving. But Xiao Meiji wanted to report Qiao Xian's deeds to eldest uncle when he was back, thus staying for one more day. But the report failed and she felt really annoyed. She did not even say goodbye to eldest uncle when she left. Hearing that the three families were not celebrating New Year together, second uncle and third uncle were really displeased. They rushed to the first section of the family and argued about it. Ms. Fang ignored them and refused to change anything. Eldest uncle wanted to have a lively dinner, but no one in the family supported him. Xiao Sanlang, Xiao Yunduan, Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni all said no to his request, and Qi and Tao Tao disapproved of it too. Elder uncle felt really distressed, but there was nothing he could do. Second uncle and third uncle became totally disappointed with eldest uncle, who only talked nice but never did anything in reality. Ms. Niu and Ms. Ma kept blaming the first section of the family for this decision, but no family in the village would gather together with their brothers, after their parents were gone. When the three sections of the family gathered to celebrate New Year's, they were just creating a strange scene. Hence, they could not even complain about it to the villagers. They felt so annoyed. But it had been settled that they were not spending the New Year together, ever again. Ms. Niu could not help but blame Ms. Ma. It is your Meiji who caused all of this. But for what she did to the first section of the family, they would not have made this decision. Ms. Ma did not accept this accusation. Eldest sister-in-law has disliked us for a long time. She was going to mention this to us anyway. Meiji has nothing to do with it. Since Ms. Fang and Ms. Su had finished with their visits to their parents' homes, Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan visited the Qiao family before the Minor New Year. They had some mediocre presents with them and got mediocre reception at the mansion. Officer Qiao did not appear this time to receive them. It was Madame Qiao, Qiao Wei, concubine Du and Qiao Ko who received them. Qiao Wei was also there watching the show. She was really interested in meeting Qiao Xian. Qiao Wei even ordered Lu Yan to serve her. Qiao Xian's face changed as she saw Lu Yan. She lowered her head and said nothing, which made Qiao Wei feel really glad. Qiao Ko added fuel to the fire. Second sister, Lu Yan is your maid, isn't she? Why is she not with you? Qiao Xian was startled, as she staggered. I am not sure. Elder sister has the call. The elder sister could give whatever she wanted. She was arrogant and spoiled, without any manners. Qiao Ko did not understand what Qiao Xian meant. She chuckled and teased. You are right, second sister, elder sister has the call. Chapter 473, Problems. She is the elder sister, after all. Qiao Ko found her to be boring. She chuckled and said, Second sister, you are so obedient. You obey whatever elder sister tells you to. Qiao Xian said seriously, we are sisters, and we should listen to each other. Qiao Ko was startled, as she glared at Qiao Xian. Of course, I am the most obedient one. Qiao Wei was already quite displeased. She snorted and threw a look at Qiao Ko. What was this bitch trying to say? No wonder her mother said that Qiao Xian was not a threat, but this bitch was. She was not going to allow this cheap woman to suck up to any noble family, otherwise there would be trouble. It seemed that her mom was right. Madame Qiao apparently realized that Qiao Ko did not mean anything good. She gave her a cold look. Concubine Du, who had been watching the show, felt her heart tremble. She threw a look at Qiao Ko, telling her to shut up. Lu Yan didn't dare to utter a word but said inwardly, Stop messing around. Second miss is not as simple as you assume. If you keep on causing trouble, you will really be in trouble. Concubine Du hurriedly spoke up, fearing that Qiao Ko would continue to say something bad. She smiled. One heard that young Master Xiao has been driven out of Minghua College, is it true? What happened? Qiao Ko soon got interested and chuckled. Yeah, what about telling the story of how you were driven out of college? You are not going to attend the imperial examination, without a teacher, right? Should Dad help you? Qiao Xian threw a look at Qiao Ko, as she turned to Madame Qiao, asking sincerely. Mom, can Dad really be of some help? Madame Qiao glanced at Qiao Ko coldly, snorting. Stop speaking nonsense. College made the decision for a certain reason. The old master is a fair and just officer who will never abuse his power to conduct any personal affairs. Oh. Qiao Xian looked disappointed. True. I never expected that. But I thought the third sister was telling me. Qiao Ko got anxious. Stop the nonsense. That is not what I mean. Qiao Xian sounded weak. Oh, then I must have been mistaken. Qiao Ko got even more annoyed. You are definitely mistaken. Drop it now. Madame Qiao got impatient as she snapped. Just shut your mouth if you don't know how to talk. Stop messing around. Qiao Ko flushed. She threw a grudging look at Qiao Xian. Concubine Du was annoyed too. She kept blaming Qiao Ko for being stupid and for Qiao Xian not being able to talk nicely, which made Madame Qiao misunderstand Qiao Ko. Concubine Du quieted down, rather than laugh at Qiao Xian. Lu Yan lowered her head. She wished to hide herself. She thought to herself. Second miss just puts forward a few casual words and third miss immediately gets set up. She is not as simple as she looks. Noon has ever realized it. All right, you have traveled far to come to this place. Stay for lunch. Madame Qiao stood up and was about to leave. She had no interest in keeping Qiao Xian and her husband company. Qiao Xian replied. It will get dark soon, so we need to head back. We can keep ourselves warm under the sun. No need for lunch, thanks. Mother, we are leaving now. Say hello to father for us. Chapter 474. Going home they were sure that Xiao Yunduan's future had been ruined, and Qiao Xian was never going to get out of the farmer's family. They did not bother to make any effort in being nice. In this case, it saved them a lot of trouble. They would not stop her from leaving, if she wanted to. Sure enough, Madame Qiao ignored them and said, any way you like. Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan waved them goodbye and left the mansion. All right, darling. Yeah, I am fine. They smiled at each other. Then, let's go home. Okay. They walked for over 2 lanes before getting on the donkey cart. Xiao Sanlang was waiting for them at the noodle restaurant close by. He was surprised that they showed up so early. But Xiao Sanlang never pried into the reason for it. He stood up and greeted them, and the 3 of them went home together. They learned about Yang Liang's visit when they came home. Xiao Sanlang got anxious as she took Yang Xiani's hands. Honey, he did not bully you, did he? Yang Xiani felt so sweet in heart, as she looked at Xiao Sanlang with love, shaking her head. No, don't worry, brother Sanlang. We are at our own home, and he could not bully me at all. That is good. Xiao Sanlang let out a sigh of relief, snorting. Shame on him. Yang Xiani added. Yeah. I ignored him too. You are right, just ignore him. He must have said something bad to you, but don't think about it. I would be worried. I am happy to have you, brother Sanlang. I am not annoyed. Ha! Miss Fang could not stand their behavior anymore. She glared at her son. Just go back to your room for these sweet talks. Stop being in the way. Qiao Xian and the others had already left the site. Xiao Sanlang was confused. We are not in the way. Miss Fang shouted. You are. Just go back to your room. Xiao Sanlang had a lot to ask Yang Xiani. He found his mother getting really hot-tempered these days, but he did not want to argue with her. So he replied briefly and left with Yang Xiani. They continued to talk about this when they went back to their own room. Yang Liang visited Yang Xiani because he was thinking about taking Yang Xiani back, so they would not be laughed at by people in the village, especially since Yang Xiani and Xiao Sanlang refused to pass on any gifts to them. Yang Liang said to Miss Tian, Xiani is my sister, and I can coax her. She won't be so ruthless. If they come here, you must not scold her anymore. Treat her nicely, so they could come and visit us often. Miss Tian cursed inwardly and said unhappily, all right, I know what to do. You can get her back if you are capable of doing so. She is not as generous as you assume. She holds a deep grudge against you. Yang Liang was annoyed by what she said. His face sank and he asked, what do you mean? Do you want me to get them here or not? Miss Tian fell silent. Miss Fang and Yang Xiaoni were both alarmed seeing Yang Liang at the door. He felt so embarrassed. Yang Liang was so jealous looking at the new house of the first section of the family. The first section of the family was leading an increasingly better life. Chapter 475. Her guesses. His sister looked prettier than the last time they met. She was even wearing silver bracelets, with silver hairpins and silk flowers in her hair, looking radiant. That made Yang Liang feel really uncomfortable. He had a strange thought inside his head. Yang Xiaoni turned down Yang Liang's intention. He became really furious when the persuasion did not work. Xiaomi, isn't it enough? You have vented your anger. Are you trying to deny that I am your brother? Yang Xiaoni looked at him calmly. You denied that I was your sister a long time ago. You never treated me like your sister. You didn't even give me any dowry when I got married. I got my wedding gown from my mother-in-law. You forgot all of these. I didn't. Yang Liang got even more annoyed. But you said yes to all of these. Why didn't you oppose the decision? Now you are picking up the old stories. Yang Xiaoni sneered. Would that have worked? I did not dare say a thing. What if my wedding was called off because of you and your selfish behavior? If it were not Brother Sanlang I married, but some poor family who never fed me, would you still come and beg me to go home with you? Yang Liang was startled. He subconsciously did not dare look at Yang Xiaoni. Yang Xiaoni sneered. She felt even colder in heart. This was what she had expected. What was the point of putting on a show? Miss Fang could not help but glance at Yang Xiaoni. Her third son's daughter-in-law might look slow in the head, but she never changed her mind once she made the decision. She was not all that useless. So, we can be strangers from today on, and part our ways. I won't be jealous of you if you make a fortune, or want a portion of it. Similarly, whether I am living well or not has nothing to do with you either, understand? Yang Liang felt so embarrassed. But he had no words to counter her. He left the Qiao family in total awkwardness. He had another fight with Ms. Tian when he reached home. Hearing Yang Xiaoni's words, Xiao Sanlang kept kissing his wife, smiling. My wife, you were great. You made such a wonderful speech. Yang Xiaoni looked very proud and smiled brightly. Of course I did. The following day, Xiao Yunduan and Xiao Sanlang went to deliver New Year's presents to Master Yun. Master Yun had not taken Xiao Yunduan as the disciple formally. But he still learned a lot from him. He respected him and admired him as a disciple, thus abundant presents were prepared. However, when he returned home in the afternoon, Master Yun and his 3 servants, namely Uncle Yun and Aunt Yun as well as Tsang, came back with him. They were going to spend the new year at his house. Miss Fang and eldest uncle were surprised, but still opened their arms in welcome for them. Xiao Zhaoqi's yard was quite spacious, with 3 wing rooms and 1 main room, as well as 2 smaller affiliated rooms. Master Yun and his group would live there. Qi volunteered to spare the main room for Master Yun, whilst he rolled up his blanket and moved to the east affiliated room. Master Yun stayed in the master bedroom, whilst Uncle Yun and Aunt Yun lived in the western affiliated room. Tsang lived in the segmented room next to Master Yun's. Soon, Uncle Yun sorted the east wing room as study. The Qiao family were quite uneasy facing Master Yun and his people. They were plainly dressed, but they looked different. So, the Qiao family were all quite nervous meeting them. Chapter 476, Proud but Master Yun was a very easygoing person and good at chatting. He spoke of land and properties with eldest uncle and Miss Fang, so that both of them felt interested in speaking with Master Yun. Uncle Yun and Aunt Yun were friendly, and Song was a very lively and smiling boy with a sweet tongue. They soon got on well with each other. The family had no idea that Master Yun actually was Xiao Yunduan's teacher. But Xiao Sanlang and Qiao Xian did. So when the teacher was here, he should be treated well. Qiao Xian decided to cook the dinner personally. Miss Su and Yang Xiaoni gave her a hand. They made steamed smoked meat, sausage and a smoked fish platter. They killed a chicken and stewed it with the most delicious and rare mountain mushrooms. They also made steamed pork belly with powder, braised soft-shelled turtle, stir-fried eel with ginger, onion and garlic, steamed mandarin fish, minced meat tofu, stir-fried yam, stir-fry shredded bamboo shoots of tea tree mushrooms, as well as a garlic-fried cabbage. As each dish was cooked and served, Miss Su and Yang Xiaoni were both very proficient with Qiao Xian's pace. But Aunt Yun was shocked. She was quite good at cooking and expected to make the dishes here. It turned out that she did not need to do a thing. At first, Aunt Yun saw Miss Su, Yang Xiaoni happily washing, chopping, cleaning the pot, and lighting the fire, while Qiao Xian was watching from the side. Moreover, they still wanted to ask Qiao Xian about everything, such as how to cut the vegetables, and other things. This made Aunt Yun even more puzzled. But Qiao Xian was better at cooking the actual dishes. The dishes were far superior to the ones made by hers. When the dinner was served, Master Yun ate with everyone from the first section of the family. Aunt Yun and Uncle Yun as well as Tsang were not at the table, but they got some portions from each dish and ate at the small, square desk in the kitchen. Qiao Xian said to them, "Uncle Yun and Aunt Yun, just eat the food. My husband is attending Master Yun." Master Yun was not a particular man. So, both Uncle Yun and Aunt Yun nodded and accepted the offer. Miss Fang and eldest uncle invited Master Yun to take the seat. Master Yun could not help but sigh seeing the table filled with dishes. This is such a waste of food. Only a dish of smoked sausage, vegetables and tofu should be enough. It must have cost a lot. Miss Fang smiled. It's very nice of you to say so. These fish were all caught in the river and kept in the pond in the backyard of our house for free. This chicken is also raised at home. We have a lot of chickens at home. I also made a lot of sausages and smoked meat, about 100 kilograms. You would never be able to finish it. My daughter-in-law, Miss Qiao, cooked this meal. She is really good at making food. Try it, please. The whole family asked Master Yun to take the seat. Master Yun was surprised. He had thought that his servant, Aunt Yun, made all this. So, it was not her. But hearing what Miss Fang said, he felt relaxed and smiled. Okay, I will try everything. You are living a great life here. How wonderful. Miss Fang was proud. Yeah. My sons and daughters-in-law are all very capable people. Master Yun nodded with a smile. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Miss Fang felt even prouder. Yes. Miss Fang was very easy to get on well with. She was very straightforward. Qiao Xian cooked for Master Yun every day. She tried her best to serve Master Yun some good dishes. Chapter 477, New Year's Eve Translator. Henyu translations. Firstly, she was showing respect to the teacher, and also, she wanted Master Yun to see that they were very sincere so Master Yun could accept Xiao Yunduan as the disciple formally. Master Yun spoke highly of her cooking skills. He had been to many places, and Qiao Xian served different cuisines, some of which he had tasted before and some not. Hearing that Qiao Xian was the daughter of the county magistrate and learned the cooking skills from books, he could not help but feel emotional. How blind was the county magistrate to have ignored such a wonderful daughter. When Master Yun was well fed, he spent more effort in imparting knowledge to Xiao Yunduan. He was having a very leisure time living with the first section of the family. Soon, the news that guests were visiting the first section of the family spread in the village, but it was not discussed for too long. The first section of the family was different from the other families. It was quite normal these days that they had guests. Seeing that it was an elderly man who was the visitor, the second and third section of the family lost interest. But they kept mumbling to themselves, blaming them for being turned away whilst strangers were accepted. The New Year's Eve arrived soon after Minor New Year. It was very lively in the whole village on New Year's Eve. Every household started to post spring festival couplets and window paper cuts in the morning. Those who were more particular would hang 2 pairs of red lanterns under the eaves to watch the festival. The first section of the family was going to spend the new year in the new house, and everyone was glad about it. They had got everything, the couplets, the character of happiness, window paper cuts as well as red lanterns under the eaves. The whole house looked really lively. Tao Tao and Chi put on new clothes and shoes, with pockets full of melon seeds, peanuts, pine nuts, almonds and so on, playing with children in the village. They cheered happily and set firecrackers, making the whole village look even more flourishing. Xiao Xiaozhi and Xiao Meiling also had new clothes made. When they went out to hang out with friends, they ran into Tao Tao and Chi, who had their brother with them too. Tao Tao was wearing a rose-red dress, embroidered with begonia flowers on the side, a circle of fluffy snow-white rabbit fur around the neckline and cuffs, a light pink skirt and thick buckskin boots, which made the girl look very beautiful. The material of the dress was not satin, but it was better than ordinary muslin, and the workmanship of the clothes was more delicate and meticulous. It made her stand out in the crowd of friends without being too obtrusive. Still, Tao Tao caused much envy from her peers, since she was already a good-looking girl from birth. She had many snacks and shared them with friends generously, and many children loved hanging out with her. Xiao Xiaozhi and Xiao Meiling had been quite happy in their new clothes, but their faces turned dark when they saw Tao Tao. Tao Tao was never as good as them, and she only got what they had left. But things are different now. The 2 sisters felt sour in heart. They could have ripped Tao Tao of the silk flowers and hairpin flowers as well as snacks in the past, and they would have pestered eldest uncle to share the clothes with them too. But they did not dare to do anything like that now. Xiao Xiaozhi and Xiao Meiling kept mocking Tao Tao and tried to turn others against her. But Tao Tao had many snacks and was very generous, so she attracted many fellows to her side, which made Xiao Xiaozhi and Xiao Meiling really displeased. They found the whole thing going against them, and hence decided to go home with their faces sunk. Chapter 478. Opinions. Xiao Meiling was slightly older and had just gotten engaged. She did not dare to make a scene, thus crying to herself. Xiao Xiaozhi almost burst into tears seeing Ms. Ma. Tao Tao bullied me. Ms. Ma had not been really happy when she heard about killing a chicken for New Year's dinner. Now, she became really angry. How did she bully you? Tell me. Even Tao Tao has changed. Normally, all they needed to do was to eat at the first section of the family every year rather than take care of everything, which saved them a lot of trouble. But right now, they have to do everything by themselves. She wanted a reason to vent the accumulated anger. Xiao Xiaozhi got startled hearing what her mother said. She stumbled with her words, not daring to say a thing. Her mother got even more irritated by her hesitation, so she dashed off into the room. Ms. Ma mumbled. Serve you right to have been bullied, so timid and weak. But after thinking about this for a while, she did not go to the doorstep of the first section of the family to fight. After New Year's Eve, they visited relatives rather than farm the land. The whole village had a very relaxed air around. There were many people visiting the first section of the family. Miss Fang and her daughters-in-law received them one by one. Miss Fang and Miss Su's mother's family, Ding Erza's in-laws as well as Miss Fang's married elder sister etc. They were all here. Even Xiao Dolly as well as a few other families from the same village came to visit them. Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni as well as Miss Su received the guests every day. They were very busy. Luckily, the new house was spacious enough for the relatives to stay, and Xiao Yunduan was not affected when he needed to study. After the new year, the autumn examination date was approaching. But on the 6th day of the new year, Miss Su suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. She turned pale and vomited. She knew what was happening. Miss Fang asked a doctor to feel the pulse, and it was revealed that Miss Su had been pregnant for 2 months. The whole family cheered happily. Xiao Delong felt happier since he was going to be a father again. Miss Fang asked Miss Su to take a good rest instead of working in the field. She could do some light work like feeding the chicken and sweeping the floor. The 4-year-old Xiao Qing should not be next to her either, in case her stomach was kicked accidentally by the child. Qiao Xian offered some cubulos and donkey hide gelatin to Miss Su as supplementary food. Miss Su was quite pleased. She had one son and she did not care if it was a girl or a boy that was yet to come. Most importantly, they were living a very good life these days, and the child knew how to choose a family. She or he would be a very happy child anyway. Young Xiaoni massaged her sunk belly and got a little worried. She turned to Xiao Sanlang and said some bitter words, meaning that the elder sister-in-law was already pregnant with the 3rd child, whilst she had not got pregnant at all after being married for so long. She wondered if their mother would not like it. Xiao Sanlang could tell that his wife was very worried about this. He said anxiously, "It is not your fault. I should take responsibility too. You can't get pregnant by yourself." Young Xiaoni flushed. "I am talking about serious business here. You are just making those indecent remarks." Xiao Sanlang. "What? Why indecent? Mom won't blame you for that. Don't worry about this." Xiao Sanlang consoled Yang Xiaoni. He thought for a while and turned to look at his mother instead. Wild boars were very dangerous animals and they could not be hunted just on someone's whim and fancy. Miss Fang turned them down, which displeased second uncle and Miss Niu. When the wedding day came, Miss Fang took Yang Xiaoni and Tao Tao to offer help, whilst Xiao Sanlang and Xiao Yunduan as well as Qiao went to greet the bride. Miss Su was pregnant so she did not go to help. She would just visit when the bride arrived. She should stay at home in case she bumped into something. Miss Fang did not want Xiao Xian to go there either. She asked her to stay at home to look after Miss Su and not do any labor work. Miss Niu had wanted Xiao Xian to offer help, because she was county magistrate's daughter, which would lift up their family's reputation. But there was nothing she could do, when Miss Fang refused to bring her along. Miss Zhang sneered. Elder sister-in-law is pregnant with the 3rd child and she is getting more precious than before. She needs to be taken care of specially by someone at home. Chapter 480, Annoyance. Miss Fang snorted. True. We are living a different life now, and of course she is more precious than before. We are going to get compensation for what we lost in the past. Ms. Zhang choked on her words and veins popped up on her forehead. What they had lost in the past. Yeah, the first section of the family was bullied by the second and third section of the family in the past, and they never had a relaxed time. So, of course they were not considered precious in the past. Unconvinced, she pretended to smile calmly. Tao Tao is enough to take care of her elder sister-in-law, right? Why fifth sister-in-law? I am afraid that you are favoring her more. You don't want her to get tired. Ms. Fang never liked Ms. Zhang. When she was turned down after she tried to borrow money from her, she had never acted normally whenever they ran into each other. Ms. Zhang always picked the worst words to speak. Ms. Fang had never wanted to pick on someone junior in the family, but this junior kept offending her, and she was really starting to get irritated. Also, Ms. Fang was not a good-tempered person to begin with. So, she snapped. True. Of course I have a preference, and it is up to me, the mother-in-law. Anyone dares to counter my preference? I think your mother-in-law is the same. She gave 15 liang as a wedding gift to the Yan family, just hoping that their daughter could come to your family. She even built 2 new rooms for them. Second niece, honestly, don't be mad. The Yan family is running a tofu business and should be quite rich. I heard that they had a large dowry prepared as well. The girl from the Yan family should be quite capable. I am sure your mother-in-law has her preference as well. Ms. Zhang was trembling. She almost could not breathe. Ms. Fang sneered and turned around, leaving arrogantly. How dare this young woman try to play tricks on her? As the drum was played and the whole place turned bustling, the bride was officially married to the family. Ms. Zhang did not like any of this, especially the redness. Young Xiaoni and Ms. Fang did not return home until that evening. Qiao Xian and Tao Tao boiled some water at home, so the whole room was filled with a warm coal basin. They even had some water prepared. They regained energy after drinking the hot tea, warmed up in front of the fire and finally relaxed. The wedding was not as good as that of the first section of the family, and those who were there to help had no time to eat anything during the wedding. They were only allowed to eat the leftovers after the banquet was over. But there were no leftovers remaining as well. The leftovers were all taken away by Ms. Niu, so Ms. Fang had almost no meat to eat. Anyways, they had been so well fed during the Chinese New Year, so she desired something light. Hence, she ignored the cheap behavior of the second section of the family. Early next morning, the newly-wedded Ms. Yan, together with Xiao Sailang, came over with Ms. Niu to greet the first section of the family. The first section of the family represented the eldest in the family, so the newly-wedded daughter-in-law of the other sections of the family should come to greet the relatives here first. Qiao Xian could not help but size up Ms. Yan secretly. Ms. Yan had a very ordinary look, with many freckles on her nose. She was medium-sized, neither chubby nor skinny. Dressed in red clothes and with some silver pins and red silk flowers on her head, she seemed friendly. She was 4 years older than Xiao Sailang though. Chapter 481. The generous Ms. Yan Qiao Xian finally understood why the Yan family wished to marry their daughter to Xiao Sailang, when she was already 20 years old. The Yan family was slightly wealthy and loved the daughter. So, they were quite particular when it came to son-in-laws. But Ms. Yan looked really ordinary, and the Yan family were not incomparably rich. Since the Yan family was particular about their son-in-law, she was not married until 20 years old. That was when the Yan family got so anxious. The Yan family would never have wanted to marry their daughter to people like the second section of the family. But things were different. Seeing that the second section of the family was offering 15 liang as a wedding gift, the Yan family approved of the marriage. Otherwise their daughter would become an old spinster. Xiao Sailang was just lucky. Ms. Yen served the senior people in the family tea, whilst Xiao Xian, Qi, and Tao Tao were waiting for her to address them differently after seeing the presents. What surprised them most of all was that Ms. Yen had prepared presents for Qi, Tao Tao, Xiao Junyan and Xiao Qing. Tao Tao and Xiao Qing were given a pair of pink silk flowers whilst Qi and Xiao Junyan were given a purse of sapphire-colored flowers each. The whole first section of the family got shocked. Their eyes were widened. The second section of the family was so stingy that they had never received presents from them. Ms. Yan's actions shocked them all. Even Ms. Su tried to turn down the present but thanked Ms. Yan for her kindness. Tao Tao and Qi kept pushing the presents away. No, thanks. Ms. Niu looked surprised too. Apparently, that was Ms. Yan's own idea, which had not been shared with Ms. Niu. Ms. Niu took the opportunity and smiled. Ms. Yan, they don't lack any of these things, just take them back. Mom, these are my wishes for them. I am not taking them back. Ms. Yan smiled. She sounded gentle but had a very firm attitude. Cousin, Tao Tao and Qi, accept them. Are you all looking down at my presents? They all hesitated and turned to Ms. Fang for help. Ms. Fang smiled. Just accept the kindness from Ms. Yan. So they did. Ms. Niu was not very pleased. But she could not teach her newly wedded daughter-in-law a lesson in front of others. So she had to drop it. After they left, Qi and Ms. Su opened the purses and found that there were 8 pennies inside each of them. They were even more surprised. Is she a little too generous? Although the first section of the family did not think that 8 pennies was a lot, yet for villagers, that was already a huge amount. Ms. Fang smiled. Just accept it. Ms. Yan seems nice. Ms. Yan must have heard of the relationship between the 3 sections of the family, but she still did so. It also seemed that Ms. Niu had no idea about this. Chapter 482, Disrespect. Ms. Yen smiled. Mom, they are our relatives, the eldest uncle's family. It is always better to have a good relationship than hold a grudge, right? That wasn't too much for me. Also, Silang approved of it, too. Ms. Yen did not tell Ms. Niu about this, but she discussed it with her husband. Xiao Silang had not wanted to do so. But Ms. Yen intentionally whispered something sweet and warm to Xiao Silang, who turned totally dumb and nodded in the end. Ms. Niu glared at Xiao Silang, while her anger towards Ms. Yen disappeared. Well, Xiao Silang scratched his head. He did not know how to explain it to his mother. Ms. Yen smiled. Mom, my husband expects to have a good relationship between the 2 families too, right? Everything is fine. Let's just drop it. Ms. Niu snorted and warned Xiao Silang. Watch out in the future. We can drop it for now. What else could they do, since the presents were already given away? Ms. Yen smiled and started another topic. She was now officially a member of the Xiao family. Ms. Yen and Xiao Sanlang returned to her mother's home after 3 days of the wedding. Ms. Niu was stingy and did not offer much as return presents. She only gave her 2 chickens, 2 rolls of cheap tea, which almost killed her. Ms. Yen was very displeased inside her head, but said nothing. Instead, she and Xiao Silang went into the town and bought 2 jars of wine, 3 kgs of noodles, 1 kg of pastry and 3 kgs of pork belly. Then, Ms. Yen said in a wrongful tone to her husband, Mom has given us so little. It is such a humiliation for us. You are the son-in-law, what would my family think of you? I am helping you keep up the reputation. We are a couple, right? I am earning your reputation for your sake. Xiao Silang felt both guilty and moved, without knowing what to say. He was now totally on Ms. Yan's side. Ms. Yan added a few more sentences so he felt even more inclined towards her. Ms. Yan was satisfied and smiled. Since we have added things on our own to the return presents, don't tell parents about this. Otherwise Mom will blame me again. Xiao Silang shook his head. Yeah, we must keep it a secret. Don't worry, I won't tell. He knew clearly what his mother was like. That made Ms. Yan feel even more happy. She was not trying to start a war with her mother-in-law, but she really could not respect her mother-in-law. She was married to Xiao Silang, and expected to live a peaceful life. She did not care about what others thought, but Xiao Silang had to take her side and obey her words. She was quite surprised about the terrible relationship between the second section of the family and the first section of the family, which she found out recently. Luckily, Xiao Silang had not offended the first section of the family like his parents. So, she could come up with some solutions to improve the relationship. She really thought that the second section of the family and third section of the family were stupid. They could take advantage of the first section of the family in the past, but henceforth, they needed to stay humble and try to have a good relationship with the first section of the family. They needed to be capable enough to counter them, but they had no abilities. They did not want to admit their foolishness, either. Instead, they kept causing trouble for themselves. So horrible. She did not care about the third section of the family, and she did not care what the second section of the family wanted. But they should not stop her from doing whatever she wanted to do. Otherwise, she would separate herself from the family. She was from a capable family like the Yan family, who should not be offended easily. They were not separated until a long while later. Xiao Silang felt so stressed. He wiped his sweat and said, "Mother-in-law treats you so well." Ms. Yan smiled. "They all treat me well. I feel very unhappy to leave them." Xiao Silang smiled. "But we don't live so far apart. You can come back whenever you want, to visit them." Ms. Yan smiled and said nothing back. She would not be able to come back whenever she wanted, since she was already married. Ms. Niu was really glad to see so many things brought back. She kept asking Ms. Yan, "Are you tired? Why don't you take a break?" Then, she asked Xiao Miling to pour tea for her. Qiao Xian understood what her mother-in-law meant. How should they keep the relationship with her? She thought for a while and smiled. "Mom, we can wait and see. Time will tell if she is pretending or is really so generous. You can't hide your true nature forever. If she is worth associating with, then we can definitely maintain relations with her. Otherwise, we don't need to care about it." Miss Fang clapped her hands. "Exactly what I am thinking. Young Xiaoni. What were they talking about?" She did not get it. Ms. Niu noticed the missing roasted chicken and asked her about it. Ms. Yan never thought about concealing her actions from Ms. Niu. You're tuning into the Path of the True Immortal YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.